Channel America presents the Major Soccer League Game of the Week. Today's game is being brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers, with that distinctively clean, crisp, cold taste. Nothing beats a Bud. Welcome, everyone, to the Pacific Northwest. This is the Tacoma Dome in Tacoma, Washington, site of today's Major Soccer League Game of the Week between the Tacoma Stars and the Cleveland Crunch. A pleasant good afternoon, everyone. I'm John Paul Della Camera. When these two teams played a year ago, you'd say, why bother? Neither team was in playoff contention. Both teams were in the basement, and as it turned out, neither team made the playoffs. But, Ty Keel, things have really changed this year, and in the what have you done for me lately category, Cleveland has won 6 of 7, 7 of 10. They're hot.
Cleveland has come on strong. Now they're just 2 games out of second place. They're chasing Baltimore. The big difference for them has been a couple things. Some improved goalkeeping from P.J. Johns. Mike Sweeney's back in the game, too. But Kai Hoskevy now, previously the player coach, now concentrating on playing. He said it when he was a coach's job never ends. Now he's been doing the job for sure, helping him up top. Zoran Karic, a tremendous offensive threat. He's so explosive. 16 times this season he's had 3 points or more in a game.
Now, on the opposite side for the Tacoma Stars, not only are they out of the basement, they're in third place, but at the beginning of the season, for about 2 months, they were in first place. Keith Weller's turned things around here. Keith Weller's done a fine job introducing some new faces here. Freddie Thompson from Baltimore. He's brought in a whole contingent of players from the Dallas Sidekicks, where he was the assistant coach. But Vaccaro is the main story. The foundation of this team is goalkeeping. Statistically, the best goalkeeper in the league with a 4.57 goals against average. Gary Heel doing the job up top for the Tacoma Stars with 51 points. A guy who had a poor season last year has returned to the Pacific Northwest and really enjoys playing here in Tacoma. And both of those guys are all-stars. They'll be playing in Wednesday night's game in Kansas City. But we've got to say at the start that Gary Hill is a question mark at the start of this game. He has been bothered by a Charlie horse. Whether or not he'll play remains to be seen. We'll come back to Tacoma and talk more about today's game between the Tacoma Stars and the Cleveland Crunch in just a moment.
International soccer comes Soccer International. North America's fastest growing full-color soccer monthly brings alive a world of great soccer action. Every month, through 70 pages of stunning photography, revealing graphics and incisive commentary, Soccer International brings you International Spotlight, star player profiles, coaching and refereeing tips, North American Soccer Report, and more. 12 issues, only $22.95. Soccer International.
Subscribe now, and you also will receive this outstanding aluminum coach's clipboard absolutely free, almost indestructible and easily erasable. You can plot key plays, detail strategy, and explain moves. As used by leading coaches and players worldwide, this aluminum board will give you years of use. Use it at every practice. Use it at every game. It would make a perfect Christmas gift. 12 full-color issues of Soccer International, plus a great coaching clipboard for just $22.95. Less than $1.91 per issue. Call toll-free 1-800-448-3242.
Nothing beats being in a band. Nothing beats the sound of cheers. Nothing beats clean, crisp, and cold. Nothing beats the king of beers. Yeah, nothing. Nothing beats a Bud. Yeah, nothing. Nothing beats a Bud. Nothing. Nothing beats a Budweiser. Ice cold Budweiser. Nothing beats a Bud.
There's a look at the Lifetime Series. Tacoma's the only team that Cleveland has a better one-loss record in the Lifetime Series at 6-5. This year they're even, though, at 2 apiece, and the Crunch won their last meeting 1 week ago today, or yesterday, at 7-6 for the final, and Zoran Karic ended up with 3 goals in that game. So the series has been a good one thus far as they get set to kick off here in Tacoma. We will pause right now for this regional break. You're watching the Major Soccer League Game of the Week here on Sports Channel America.
Until now, your choice for radio sports was limited. But now, just set your AM radio to an old friend with a new name, 1220 WKNR.
Hi, I'm Jeff Sindelar, and we'll talk sports weekdays from 5 to 8. Really talk sports. Larry Kelton at 3, Reggie Rucker at 8. Then scores and interviews all night. When it comes to sports, turn to AM 1220 WKNR, Cleveland Superfan.
WKNR, AM 1220.
Hot rods
spin move. Oh, look at that circus try. Tapped away. Elo on the move. Dawkins chasing, but not in time.
They needed a great play, and they got two.
Welcome back, everyone. We're just about set for the kickoff between the Cleveland Crunch and the Tacoma Stars as Kai Hoskeby gets set to kick it off with Dave Hagen. The visiting team gets the kickoff, and the first and third quarters home team gets it second and fourth. And this team has really come to life since Kai Hoskeby, as Ty mentioned at the start, has become a player only. He's been one of the best players not only in the team but in the league. A player of the week last week and also January's player of the month. With Dave Hagen for the kickoff, we are underway here in Tacoma. Several of these players have had experience playing for each side. Dave Hagen, in fact, played for the Tacoma Stars until traded last year, even up for Pato Marhetic. Tacoma looking for it, and now it's played all the way back to Bill Crook, having his best year offensively for Tacoma. Right side to Ralph Black. McCormick looking for the speedy Radwanski. Wide open as Thompson got a slow pass. Thompson shot saved. P.J. Johns, a tester early.
Quick counterattack by Tacoma, but P.J. Johns looking sharp, as he has as of late. One of the big reasons for the resurgence of this Cleveland Crunch team.
Coming back in time from viral meningitis, which sidelined him for about a month's time and really plagued him. He was very weak for a while, but since that time, since he has come back, he has been a starter in the majority of games for this club. 6 consecutive starts. This will be 7 today, and he has started now 11 of the team's last 13. Ralph Black, an all-star, 1 of 3 for Tacoma. Gary Hill, by the way, with that Charlie horse, will play, and he's out there right now. Hoskeby knocking it back to Bernie James, the all-time block shot leader in the Major Soccer League. Well over 900, over 950 right now. Could hit the 1,000 mark this year. Ralph Black knocking it away. Black settling it, pushing it, score! Mark Carpet.
A quick start for the Tacoma Stars. They already had one chance on which P.J. Johns did quite well. This one, he was his own worst enemy, as it was his poor clearance pass that went onto the foot of Ralph Black. Ralph Black, a nice little touch with the outside of the left. He prefers that left foot. He finds Carpet in along the boards. Carpet pops it in to the empty net. And Ralph Black knows what to do with those kind of opportunities. He is a leading scoring defender for these Tacoma Stars.
Well, Mark Carpet now has scored at least a point in 7 consecutive games. The big stat there, not just the first goal of the game, but 57 seconds in, Tacoma off to the quick start.
Watch P.J. Johns really get fired up because he knows that was his fault. It was his mistake there on the distribution pass. Give some credit to Ralph Black. He read it, anticipated, stepped right in front, but P.J., a poor selection on a pass there.
Hagen will give it up now to Bernie James. Near the midfield line, played up to Hoskeby. Knocked back to Willen, and now it's Hector Marinaro. He missed 5 games with an ankle sprain. Thought he had possibly broken the ankle against St. Louis. Here's Marinaro as we look at our 3-screen shot, which we debuted last week. Got a lot of positive feedback on it. You'll see a bit of that here today. Choose your screen and watch what's going on in this MSL game of the week. On the right side, Waters back to Radwanski. 1-0 Tacoma leading it in the white and blue uniforms. Crunch in red and black. Radwanski uses the boards, and John's got a piece, but not all. James clearing it up for the speedy Marinaro. Hector will also be playing in that all-star game on Wednesday, along with his teammates George Fernandez and Zoran Karic. Marinaro holding it as Cleveland will change up here on the fly. Mike Sweeney coming back on along with Zoran Karic, George Fernandez, and Marco Rizzi.
Marinaro, a player with a great deal of flair. He'll do the unexpected. He's fun to watch because he scores a lot of goals, but they're all different. He's always trying new things.
Off Greg Ian, Mike Sweeney going after it, and this one goes out of play. Sweeney had been suspended for about a month's time, and he couldn't even practice with the team. There was a lot of controversy there. They tried to deal him, couldn't deal him. He didn't really want to leave Cleveland. As we look at our scoring summary, Carpet and Black teaming up in that first goal. Sweeney didn't really want to leave Cleveland, and other teams knew that he didn't want to go there. Plus, when you suspend a guy, you also know that that upsets the trade value. But since Sweeney has come back, and Hoskeby, they've added 2 great players, and that's been a big factor in their resurgence of the Cleveland Crunch. Here's Rizzi.
Sweeney had been the captain of this team earlier in the year, and actually some of the problems that he was having with the team were problems he was having with Hoskeby, who was at the time the player coach.
Coming back, here's Black. Cutting it right side. A shot on goal is blocked by Fernandez. It's loose. And in the battle for it, Crunch trying to move it out. And we've got a whistle and a foul call by Marty Templin, who's working the game along with Torres Kabrichin, and Gary Sugarts is the alternate official. Ball is knocked back now to Fernandez. Sending it long for Karich. Karich marked up by Bill Crook, although Keith Weller said earlier they won't have any individual matchups today because Cleveland has so much offensive firepower. Crunch taking it in, and that long shot is going to be blocked by the Tacoma defense off of Andy Schmetzer. Fernandez shot went wide. Cleveland looking to tie it up. Ritchie blasting it off. 11:41 to go. And this one goes out of play here in the first half, and it's still a 1-0 lead for the Tacoma Stars, but it's been pretty much a wide open game. A reminder that the All-Star game takes place this Wednesday in Kansas City. Sports Channel America will be there February 13th, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time kickoff. Some of the very best players in soccer involved in that one. And All-Star games have always been fun for the Major Soccer League. You see all the greats. And here's a look at Dave Hagen, who had an 11-game assist streak snapped the other night against Wichita. I know you're a former All-Star and you like playing in those games. You know you're always going to get a good pass, but you're going up against some great defenders and great goalkeepers as well. But it's fun for the players.
Sometimes you need a few extra balls out there, though, because
that's right.
These guys are used to having a lot of the ball.
That's right. Coming back, here's Dave Hagen. Holding it, playing it back out to Fernandez. Freddie Thompson on the challenge. The turnaround shot saved by Vaccaro, robbing Marinaro.
Waters may have stepped in front of him there with the block. Joe Waters very adept at shot blocking.
One of Tacoma's and one of the league's best. As it's cleared back the other way, P.J. Johns will come out for it.
We almost had twins playing against each other today with Andy and Walter Schmetzer. Walter Schmetzer of the Tacoma Stars was a late scratch, though. His brother Andy playing for Cleveland. Twin brother.
Nice run back by Radwanski. Long pass. They look to spring McCormick. Marinaro. Look at the hustle of Marinaro. A forward coming back there defensively against McCormick. 1-0 Tacoma with the ball and the lead. Knocked outside. And they'll hold it for the change. Here's Ristich.
Tacoma with 6 players of local origin here. McCormick, one of them. He's from the Seattle area.
In the corner, Kinsey banging for it. Keith Weller has I call them the Dallas Sidekicks Northwest, because they've added 4 players who used to play for the Sidekicks. And then they added Freddie Thompson from Baltimore. You get players that have been on winning teams and workers, and that's a big help. They've got a good chemistry here this year.
It is a different team. If you remember last year, Preki was the Tacoma Stars. It was essentially a one-man team, and it was too much for Preki. As talented as he is, I think it really affected him. Now he's gone to St. Louis, where they've got a bunch of scorers. Really, the pressure's not on, and he's really blossomed. And on the other hand, now Tacoma's doing even better without him.
Schmetzer's pass right side. Here's Karich avoiding the tackle. Zoran Karich and the Cleveland Crunch trailing here 1-0 as Karich plays it back out to James. Watch out for Karich today. He had 6 goals in one game against San Diego. He can put that ball in the net. And he's averaged 2 points a game with Cleveland.
He's a scrappy, tough forward. He's not that big, but nobody really pushes him around.
He can fire, though. Here comes Karich looking off the boards, looking to pass it out, and a whistle had sounded before the blast was taken by Willen, as Karich was taken into the boards by Ristich. 9:33 remaining. First half of play. 1-0 Tacoma leading at Cleveland. We'll restart it here on this corner kick. Hagen with Karich and Marinaro. Stars are 12-5 when they score first, and it's tied on the Karich goal.
Hagen with the assist. Just a quick little pass back to Karich. Karich didn't waste any time in unloading it. Vaccaro trying to get his hands up for time. There's no way he could, but it's good as the visiting team to get right back into it. Otherwise, it could turn into a long afternoon. We'll have another look at it. Look, the foul had been down in the corner. It's passed back out. It's a high rising shot, and we have to talk again about this year, the goal being bigger. The goal this year, 1 foot higher, 2 feet wider than it was previously up to this time in the entire history of the league. That one there just snuck in under that extra foot was all the difference.
Zoran Karich now has scored points, not goals, but goals or assists in 32 of his last 34 games for the Crunch, and he has tied it up at 1 apiece. Karich from Hagen, and even though he had the assist streak snapped the other night, he has now had at least an assist in 12 of his last 13 games. The goal scored at 5:28, and there's your summary. Cleveland and Tacoma even at 1. They look for Hoskeby. He got free for the second. Crook will deflect it out now to Ralph Black. Played up to Greg Ion, having a fine season for the Stars. They look for Kinsey, and Johns bangs it off the boards. Ahead for Hoskeby. Broken up by Schmetzer to Mike Sweeney. Sweeney with a poke. Hoskeby Hoskovy shooting it, hit his own player in front. Ritchie on the gamble. Still in there to win it. And now it's knocked away by Ion to Kinsey, knocking it back to Crook. Good pressure by Cleveland.
Cleveland trying to catch some momentum from that last goal. They went down early, but they're right back in it. You may as well. And you watch Hoskovy. It's so great to see him healthy again, even though he's got that cast on the left arm. That shouldn't really slow him down. One of the best all-around players this league has ever seen, and one of only 3 players ever in league history to reach the 650-point plateau, along with Jungle and Bronco Segota.
Broke a bone in his left wrist on January the 19th against Kansas City. Hoskovy holding it now in the neutral zone, waits for James to come on. Now giving it up to Greg Willen. Willen coming off his best year last year offensively with Wichita, looks for Karich. He tried to flick it on with a header past Vaccaro, who had some great years with the old Cleveland Force of the Major Soccer League. Nice interception. Here comes Marinaro as we look at the 3 screen. Off the boards, looking, just missed his man. Hagen trying to come through as Crook bangs it off the boards. Less than 8 minutes to go. First half tied at 1.
There's that pressure again by Cleveland, nearly effective again.
Coming back on the right side. Here's Carpet. His goal in the first minute of play got Tacoma off to the good start. Cross to Ralph Black. Tackled away by Marinaro. Long shot from downtown by Bill Crook, and that one sails out of play, and we'll have an official's timeout on the floor. 7 minutes and 38 seconds still to play here in the opening quarter of play on goals by Carpin and Karich. It's dead even here in Tacoma. Cleveland 1, Tacoma 1.
Love those humps down there.
Excitement gets into your blood.
I think it's great.
The Major Soccer League, where it roars indoors.
Welcome back, everyone. With Ty Keogh, I'm John Paul Della Camera. That's not either one of us. It's 1-1 is your score here. There's a man who loves referees, and he's got his mouth taped up. That's incredible. He is ready for the game. On cue. He did it on cue. Was this a setup or what?
Well, there's a few players in this league could use that tape probably.
Here's a look at Cleveland's goal.
Here's the tying goal as Cleveland came back. They'd given up that early one, and Hagen disguises his intentions pretty well, slides the ball back to Karich. Karich is already winding up. He places it hard and high up over the outstretched hands of Vaccaro, and that evened it up.
Why does Karich have so much room there? You're looking up here, and it looks like it's going to go to him. I know you say Hagen disguises it.
The timing was part of it, because they weren't that far from him, but because Hagen disguised his intention and the fact that Karich was already set to shoot as the ball came, even if you did start to move towards him, you wouldn't have gotten that close in time. But they should watch a guy like him much closer than that. Your point's well taken.
Chris Vaccaro's had the best goals against average in this league most of the year on a 16-13 record. There's his counterpart, P.J. Johns, and they share in common the fact that they both played for the Cleveland Force. And P.J. Johns was here in Tacoma as well. Fans gave P.J. Johns, Bernie James, several of the players a nice hand because they respect what they had done for this team a couple years ago when Johns was the defensive player of the year for Tacoma. A lot of the players, we talked to them before the game, said P.J. Johns' play coming back has been a major factor in the crunch resurgence here. Here's Willie Milano. First time I've seen him out here today. Off the boards. Broken up by Fernandez. Kinsey getting a poke at it. Knocking it back. Ristich intercepted.
Quite a bit of speed out there up top for the Tacoma Stars, with Radwanski, of course, putting pressure on every chance he gets. He's a motor. He's always in there. Steve Kinsey and Milano also quite quick. So they'll try and force mistakes out of P.J. Johns, force the goalkeeper to try and play the ball with his feet. It's been effective once. Their first goal developed from that.
He almost got that up to Hoskovy. Radwanski's an interesting story. He missed 2 years with a back problem. Had some treatment, and he is back with 11 goals this year. Some nice work by Tacoma. Now Milano will get it. Back to Ristich at the back with Joe Waters, a player, assistant coach for this team. Knocked back by Milano. And now Waters looks long for Gary Heel. Headed away by Fernandez. And now Milano takes it. A 1-1 tie with 6:27 to go in the first quarter. Up for Heel, who's a good target player. Heel still bothered, though, by that Charlie horse. Injured in Friday night's win over Dallas in overtime. Last 2 wins for Tacoma, both come in overtime. They've won 2 straight.
And they've yet to lose in overtime this year with 5 overtime wins.
Heel still holding it against Fernandez's efforts. Clock down to almost 6 minutes. Here's Ion giving it up to Waters.
Heel is such an important part to the Tacoma Stars attack. You see it here because he can hold possession in the other team's end until something can develop. That time nothing did, but that's a luxury to have a guy that you know can hold the ball. You can play it up early and then run in support.
Marinaro waits for Carriage to join in the attack. Giving it up on the right side. Ritchie now out to Hagen. Greg Willen coming out to complete the line change for Trevor Dawkins' team. There's Bernie James. 1-1 tie. Cleveland tied it at 5:28 on a Carriage goal from Hagen. Earlier it was Carpens, 15th of the year from Black. Marinaro using that speed for Schmetzer. Here's a quick shot. A score by Carriage, and Vaccaro got a piece, but not all, and Cleveland leads 2-1.
Strong run by Andy Schmetzer out of the midfield. Really opened up the whole thing. Carrick just finished it off, and he did it well. Through some traffic, the wider goal help. There's Schmetzer. He wouldn't take no for an answer. Just got a touch in there to get it past the last defender. Now his shot is blocked, but it comes right out to Carrick, and Carrick really mishits that. I don't think he struck it the way he wanted to, but the thing had eyes. It found that far corner of the net. Here's Schmetzer again, breaking through. Doesn't quite get the final shot off, but the rebound's there for Carrick. It's through the legs of a Tacoma Star defender. I think it was Carpin, and screening Vaccaro effectively enough that he couldn't get all the way over there.
48 goals now in the season for Carriage, including 2 today. Schmetzer reminded me a lot of Marinaro with that quick burst. But credit Schmetzer with the assist. Andy Schmetzer. Last year, all 3 brothers played here for Tacoma. Brian Schmetzer now, of course, plays for Don Popovic's St. Louis Storm. Here's Kinsey as Tacoma gets it away off the boards. Freddie Thompson has tied it.
And that's how quickly it can happen. The fans like it. The tie ball game again. And Tacoma looking good on the counterattack again. This ball, the pressure stays in. But Sean Medved, the rookie, who wins it initially, Kinsey slides it into him. He uses the boards very well. Thompson's perfectly positioned out in front to slot it into the open side of the net. But there's the key play there by Medved, winning the ball along the boards, getting it back from Kinsey, using the boards to draw P.J. Johns to the near side. Now the far side's open for Thompson, and Thompson puts it away.
Those goals, Ty, came 23 seconds apart. And you know what they say, you're usually most vulnerable when you've scored a goal yourself. We'll get a whistle and another foul called. Okay, Cleveland was in a physical game the other night with Wichita. They had 7 penalties, 14 minutes. Sweeney's pass deflected all the way back now to Willem. Down to 4:45 to go in this first quarter. We've already seen 4 goals. 2 each. James pass. Andy Schmetzer battling. Schmetzer grew up here in the Pacific Northwest. Intercepted the other way. Tacoma with Crook. Passing it on the far side. Gary Hill with Sweeney picking him up. Hill laying it off in the corner. Willie Milano. Bump there. Willen on the defensive end. Milano pokes it up. Billy Crook shot. And it just deflected wide. Rebound shot stopped by P.J. Johns. Another one by Crook is wide. And finally, Cleveland gets it away from their own box area. Upfield intended for Carriage. He got by Black. Carriage in the corner. Sending it right out. A shot to score. Greg Willen. Cleveland leads it 3-2. It's an offensive showdown in Tacoma.
These teams have forgotten all about defensive principles. They're just coming out to score. A high-paced game, a lot of space. Initially here, Ralph Black bumped off of the ball. Ball now in the corner. It's cut back very nicely, but it's partially deflected. And here's Willen. He likes his left foot. And boy, does he rip that one. Vaccaro just watches it go by. And it's just so much space. So when you think about it, look at the openings that are there for the Cleveland Crunch to run into. Willen's there all by himself, and he puts it very accurately away from Vaccaro where he can't get to it.
And that one came 52 seconds after Freddie Thompson scored. And you go back 23 seconds before the last goal. So we've seen him come in a flurry here.
And Zoran Karic has another 3-point ball game. We mentioned at the top of the show that 16 times this year, this will make 17. He's had at least 3 points in a game.
A very dangerous player. Last year, great trade. Both teams actually benefited with San Diego. San Diego was very happy they got Paul Wright. Cleveland happy with Karic. Far side now, Tacoma trying to work it through, but it's turned out of that zone. But Vaccaro meeting it in the neutral zone. Vaccaro sending it long. Right side of the field. Greg Ion. Played the last couple years in Kansas City. Loose ball, Ritzy, and he was taken down, but play continues.
That's an even up call maybe from when Black was bumped at the other end by Karich, and that led to the goal. I think Black can't be too happy about that one.
Look out for Hagen as he chips it in, and it's a score for Dave Hagen.
Another defensive breakdown. You're looking at two teams that have forgotten how to play defense.
I think the players are going to get tired from all the celebrations here. It's 4-2 Cleveland.
Hagen, ever the opportunist, just got his foot in at the right time. Not the prettiest of goals. Just a long ball banged out of the Cleveland zone. Long. There's no longer a three-line violation. It dropped short of that last line anyway. And here, Ristic trying to head it back to Vaccaro. Hagen reads it, gets him behind, and the ball just bounces into the empty net. And Vaccaro, the goalkeeper with the best goals against average in the league, has already given up 4 goals, and we've still got over 3 minutes left in the first quarter.
Ty, while you're not busy, send out for more score sheets. We may need them. It's 4-2 Cleveland with 3:20 to go and only the first quarter of play.
And I think it may have been Marinaro all the way back in his own end that cleared that ball out to Hagen.
Gary Hill holding it. Far side shot save. Johns rebound. Oh, what a save! And another one. 3 of them for P.J. Johns, and then Black missed it. Put that on your goalkeeping highlight film. He was beaten on that second shot and just reached his right hand out and robbed the player.
He was down and pulled it out of thin air.
That's the big save that several of the players were talking about that he has been making for this club.
He is one of the rangier keepers in the league, and that could have been the difference there. Some of the guys in the league don't have the height and the length of arms that P.J. Johns has. We'll have another look at it. There's one shot, a big save there, but here's the one that was in behind him really until he reached back to keep it alive, and then he had to make another one. So 3 saves in succession, and then he's at the mercy of his defenders who finally scrambled back to block the last one.
Vaccaro will give it up. Tacoma, the home team, trailing 4-2 with 2:30 to go here. Still in the first quarter of play. Medved coming back. Knocking it back down to Crook. Sending it up the far wing side of the field. Crunch have a miserable road record of 3-14, but they've won 2 of their last 3. Played on the left side, Carpin too high. Cleared out by Ritzy. Stopped in the trap by Bill Crook. Carpin will switch it to Ralph Black. His shot is stopped easily by P.J. Johns. Rolling it left side to Ritzy. Played in the Canadian Soccer League with Montreal last year. Looking long for Karich, and why not? He's got 3 points. This one goes out of play, and it's going to be a goal kick coming up here for Chris Vaccaro. We have seen 4 goals in 1 minute and 19 seconds. 3 by Cleveland and 1 by Tacoma. That's a flurry, to say the least.
That's a flurry. Our guys have done a great job to keep up with the replays because those can get backed up when you're talking about goals coming back quickly. We've had a good look at each one of them again on the replay. And what we're really seeing is 2 teams that are out to score points. They're not going to play this close to the vest. This is not a playoff type game where the teams are afraid to lose. They're out to win this game.
The last time that these 2 clubs met last Sunday was a 7-6 game, which Cleveland won it. So they have scored a lot of goals in this season series.
Karich lining up again, you see in the upper and in the lower right screen. He scored last time from this same situation.
Marinaro with a couple of fakes, gives it to Karich. It's blocked.
The timing was just off on that one. Karich was in too close, moving too fast.
Milano, who made the block. Good speed up the sideline. Tripped up, but Willem get the ball. Playing it up now to Karich. The crowd doesn't like it here in Tacoma, and then Milano tried to pay back the wrong player. Karich coming back the other way. McCormick against Willem, a 4-2 lead here for Cleveland. McCormick trying to split 2, and he goes down, and a foul is going to be called on Hagen on the push. Restart coming up from a dangerous spot, and Cleveland's going to be careful on the defense of this. And this year, that new rule, you got to back off 15 feet instead of 10, makes it tougher to block it. Marty Templin telling Karich 15 feet. Waters broken up by Hagen along the boards. Milano plays it back down to Bill Crook. A minute 20 to go. First quarter, 4-2 Cleveland leading it. After Tacoma scored the first goal less than a minute into this game. Here's Crook. A long one, that's wide. Waters try to settle it. Miskicked that one, and it goes out of play. Joe Waters is the leader of this team, not only in block shots, but also with the drugs or a drag program. Stars go out and they speak to all of the elementary school kids in the Tacoma area. And one of the things that the players did under Keith Weller, as we look at Keith, is that the players took the drug test themselves. And so many times you see spokesmen in sports, and they get caught doing something that they've said
Later
not to
on,
do.
right.
Yeah, and every one of the stars tested positive, tested cleanly for it, so that was a good role model. Tested negatively, which is a positive, right?
There you go.
Thank you for correcting
Make sure you get that one right.
They were clean. That's what I meant. That's been a program that's been around, too, for several years here in Tacoma.
Yeah, it's good that they stepped front and center and followed through with that.
How about this? The 3 goals in a minute 19 doesn't even come close to a league record. Baltimore versus Tacoma, 3 goals in 34 seconds. Another time, 36 seconds with Wichita playing Buffalo, and then Baltimore-Buffalo, 54 seconds, and you weren't playing in any of those games. Strange.
I knew how to defend.
Bernie James in the corner. He knows how to defend as he blasts this one out. Vaccaro looking for it, but it hops out of play with 55 seconds to go here in the first quarter.
Things heating up just a little bit because Tacoma is not desperate, but they're looking at a 2-goal deficit right now, and I think a 3-goal deficit would really change this game. So the next one's that much more important. They're going to see a few more bodies flying as they try and raise it enough to get one back.
Especially the way Cleveland's been playing lately. You don't want to give a team that already has confidence, and players to a man, we're talking about that today. They all have more confidence now. That's what winning does. Bernie James. This is the last game for the Crunch before the All-Star break. Then they've got 4 of the next 5 at home, and they've won 5 straight at home. So this could be a very dangerous team, and Baltimore not wanting to look back because the Crunch are right on their heels. Ristich plays it right back to Chris Vaccaro. Long throw on the right side. Ian was open, but that pass hit him in the backside. Played in front, intended for Kinsey breaking through.
Well, we don't want to hand out compliments too early, but watching this Cleveland team that I haven't seen for a few weeks since they've really made a transformation, this is a team. Before it was individuals.
I was going to say before that I liked, as the horn sounds, a lot of the defensive play that they did in the first quarter. They were tracking their men coming back Marinaro a couple times.
They're
several
fighting.
other players.
They're fighting as a team at both ends.
4-2 is your score after 1 quarter of play, so we've gone 15 minutes, and we saw 3 goals in a minute and 19 seconds, and Trevor Dawkins, with his back toward us, likes what he sees so far.
Wednesday, it's the Major Soccer League Mid-Season Classic. See indoor soccer's best display their talents at the 12th Annual MSL All-Star Game. Live and exclusive at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on Sports Channel America, Wednesday.
You're living right, you're thinking light. So fresh, yeah, you're keeping fit. That's it. So fresh, long as you keep trying, you're gonna get your wish. So fresh.
Now, Long John Silver's has a lighter way to go. Our tender baked whitefish. So get ready, get set.
So fresh, Long John Silver's.
Right now, come in and try our new baked fish light portions.
If you've ever struggled with a handheld trimmer, you'll love this revolutionary new kind of trimmer on wheels. Just look how easy it rolls on those 2 big wheels and glides in any direction on this front-mounted mobile. It's perfect for trimming around rocks, along fences, buildings, sidewalks, and in all those hard-to-reach corners. The new DR is also a mower. It cuts tall grass, waist-high weeds, even wet grass and rough areas with never-before ease. There's no steel blade to bend or dull. You'll just love what the DR Trimmer Mower can do for you and your property. A big color catalog is just $2. Call toll-free 1-800-238-3100. That's 1-800-238-3100 for your big color catalog all about the revolutionary DR Trimmer on wheels.
The Chicago Blackhawks, a hard-working troop with their sights set on being the best. The Hartford Whalers, feisty winger Pat Quirby leads the Whale into battle. Chicago versus Hartford, 7:30 Eastern on Sports Channel America tonight.
The Tacoma Stars were a little unfortunate at the other end, but every time Cleveland came down to this end, it seemed like they got a goal to go up 4-2 in this game. Zoran Karic, who had just bumped Ralph Black in a controversial play, got the ball in the corner, cuts it back, and Greg Willen, unattended, comes flying through with the big left foot to blast it to the opposite side. And now we're going to have a look at the fourth goal for Cleveland to put them up 4-2. A long ball just cleared out of the Cleveland zone. Really not much design to this other than to relieve the pressure in their own end. Ristic goes up and wins the head ball, goes to knock it back to Vaccaro, but Hagen steps in, just gets his knee on it actually, to lift it over Vaccaro into the empty net. So some miscommunication and some good guesswork by Dave Hagen, but it didn't look real good defensively for the Tacoma Stars.
That soccer fan really says it all. The Desert Storm America supports you, and couldn't be said better by us up here as well. Certainly our prayers are with those troops that are defending all of our principles in the Persian Gulf. Second quarter is about to begin. There's Trevor Dawkins. You know, he wears the same sport jacket, I was told before the game, until he loses. So they're doing pretty well right now. He may not become a fashion mogul.
They've won 6 out of 7.
Sure. Here's Johns with another save. He made 4 in the first quarter. Willie Milano right across, headed away by Fernandez, and Johns will grab that off the glass. He made 5 saves, I say, in the first quarter, and Vaccaro only made 1 as this one sails out of play. Before the game,
John's doing well with his reaction saves. We see this one here. Gary Hill is very good in the air, takes the bump, gets in behind, it's off the glass. Now he tries to hammer it through P.J. Johns. Good positioning. He gets his hands up. He had another one just after that. His problem has been in this game, though, in distribution. This last one bounced out off the bench, and he gave up a goal earlier when he made a bad decision on a pass.
Gary Hill with it. We're seeing more header attempts this year at goal because the goal is bigger, especially in the far upper corners. Here's Hill playing it out now to Bill Crook. 4-2. The visitors from Cleveland are leading it. Black's pass, he wanted Gary Hill, but Fernandez is there. Fernandez, the MVP in last year's All-Star game. This is his 212th consecutive game started for Fernandez, his consecutive appearances, counting the playoffs. Here's Ritchie playing it up. Marinaro, the turnaround off the left foot is just wide.
Not a bad idea because he got the shot off so quickly, and he's shooting it through the defender, which creates a screen for the goalkeeper.
Willen will knock it back. Play it upfield. Intended for Gary Hill. Hill's the leading scorer this year with Tacoma. Had a great year here a few seasons back with Tacoma. One of the most popular players to ever play for the Stars. Same with Ralph Black, who just plays it up to Carpet. Stolen by Sweeney. Looks for Marinaro. It's just too far ahead, but Hector will catch up to it. Vaccaro had to backpedal. Marinaro, nice cut. A chance to shoot, and it was deflected wide. What a fake he made when he cut. He had Vaccaro right out of goal.
Sheer deception, because you have to respect his right-footed shot. He can really unleash him with that one. He winds up and suddenly clips the ball inside, and he's ready to shoot with the left.
I thought Vaccaro was playing that tendency right there because Marinaro has got that great right foot. That almost went in anyway off a deflection. James passing it left side. Here's Hagen, who's played for Tacoma and Wichita.
Well, the left footer may have been off target until it was deflected and nearly put it back on.
Karich, who's been a story with a couple of goals and 1 assist already. Now it's Marinaro lifting it long into the corner. And it was just tipped. It goes out of play. But they're going to say it was last deflected by the speedy Ed Radwanski. And so this should be a corner kick coming up here for Cleveland. Here's where a lot of goals happen, and we saw one earlier. We look at our first quarter scoring. A lot of goals in that first quarter. 6 of them. 4-2 crunch with the advantage there. And 3 of those goals, remember, were scored in a minute 19. 2 by Cleveland, 1 by Tacoma as Hagen gets ready for the corner kick.
They're going to try Karich's left foot this time.
Hagen. Right back to Karich, right back. Hagen right across, and that almost snuck through. Good deception by the crunch. Off Vaccaro. Hagen after it. Hagen has 1 goal. That last goal for Cleveland. Karich a long one. That's tipped. That could have been dangerous if it had been deflected closer to goal because Vaccaro went down on the initial shot. Ralph Black took a bump from Marinaro. Ralph Black working. And he draws a foul. Ralph Black was so popular. He played here for some 5 seasons, then went to San Diego, was with a couple of championship teams there, and a free agent, came right back here, where he's always played well and enjoyed playing in the Pacific Northwest. Pass out now to Kinsey. Kinsey left footer. Save P.J. Johns on a deceptive shot from Kinsey, who played with Dallas last year.
And an important shot to hold. The save is one thing, but to not give up the rebound, even more important there.
James passing right side. Andy Schmetzer in a battle along the near boards. Andy Schmetzer will send it ahead for Karich.
Andy's got to be a little bit more motivated here. A guy who grew up in the Seattle area. playing for Cleveland now and played a year or two up here with Tacoma previously. He's got parents in the stands.
Here's Karich. A marked man. This time it's Milano on that assignment. Outside, Greg Willen. Willen with his 8th goal of the year earlier. Crunch have spread things around offensively, even though Karich has a couple of them. Other goals have been scored by Willen and Hagen.
At least so far in this quarter, both teams appear to have decided that they're not going to quite keep pace with what was going on in the first quarter. A little more deliberate in their play, willing to work the ball around a little bit before taking their shot.
A little more settled. Cleveland one more shot than Tacoma. Hagen cutting it back slowly, but James is there to read it. Kinsey putting the pressure on. Results in a takeover by Tacoma. Good pass across. Here's Ion. Couldn't control it. Now a shot from heel is blocked. Hagen looked like he got a piece of that. Here's Ion. Now to Kinsey. Right back to Ristich. Stars have won 4 out of their last 6, including 2 straight, both in overtime. Friday they beat Dallas here. Carpin, the game winner against his former teammates, as Hoskovy settles the play down for Fernandez. Line change. Almost complete now for Cleveland. They send Sweeney back on. Lead pass on the right side. James looking after it. Headed away from him. Sweeney heading it forward. Now to James. Sweeney cuts for goal. Cut back intended for Hoskovy. Intercepted by Radwanski with room. And he can fly. Radwanski will cut it back to Ion. Turnaround by Carpet is wide. Radwanski blocked by Fernandez. Fernandez so steady back there for Cleveland. 2nd straight All-Star appearance this Wednesday in Kansas City. Played back to P.J. Johns, striking it over midfield. Ristich in the air to win it for Ion. Marinaro almost knocked it away. Here's Radwanski. Breaking for the net was Carpet. It was blocked, this time by Bernie James. Radwanski getting it back. Milano heads for goal. And Radwanski heads for the bench to complete a line change. Ristich with it, 9:45 to go.
Tacoma dictating the pace at this point. They've sustained the attacks, although they've not managed to penetrate too much. We've not seen as much action in the last couple minutes from P.J. Johns as we did earlier, but the possession definitely for Tacoma.
Here's Medved. Giving it up now to Milano. Wide open on the right side was Kinsey. Milano doesn't see him. Now he spots him. Fernandez out to cut down his angle. Kinsey a right footer just wide of Johns, who looked to be screened on that shot. 9:19 left here in the second quarter. 4-2 Cleveland. Milano pulls the trigger and a shot is stopped by P.J. Johns. Milano disguised that one well.
Another big save by P.J. Johns, because it's difficult for a taller keeper like he is to get down that quickly, which he did. He immediately reached down to his right and was able to smother that shot.
Kinsey holding it up now for Freddie Thompson. He scored Tacoma's last goal, which came at 10:04 the first quarter. Gary Heel, left-footed shot, wide rebound shot, score! Kinsey!
Well, I was about to say you could see it coming, and I think P.J. Johns could see it coming. Cleveland too content just to lay back and defend and let Tacoma come at them, and they came at him wave after wave. And finally, a nice move by Gary Hill inside. He mishits the shot, really, but following it up well is Kinsey as he streaks through the penalty box with no one tracking him and pokes the rebound into the empty side of the net.
Steve Kinsey with his 17th goal of the year from Gary Hill. And the big factor for Kinsey really is that he's been healthy. He has played in 33 now of 35 games, and Milano has the same numbers. And if you look back at the last couple of years, and in Milano's case even further, that hasn't been the case. They've both been healthy, and that's been a plus. Here is Willen. Stars are within 1. Let's see what that does to pick up this game. A wild first quarter. It became more settled here in the second. But that goal has lifted up the crowd, and the Stars here come back with Crook. Freddie Thompson with room. Playing it into the right corner. Crook trying to play it across to Radwanski. That's busted up. Marinaro's pass up for Karich. Black got in there, and a foul is going to be called. And I don't blame Black for being upset, because he's been pushed on at least 2 occasions before. And I thought he had a legitimate gripe on that first goal that Karich ended up scoring. I thought there was contact made.
It was Willen's goal. Karich got the assist, but you're right. It was a bump that was not called. This time, Ralphie wins the contest, the individual matchup with Karich, and does get the foul called against him.
Carpin sent it back in, but a foul is going to be called there. And right now, Torres Kavichin having some words with Gary Hill as we look at Mark Carpin. Here's Marinaro with 8 minutes to go in the first half of play. It's a 4-3 lead for the visitors from Cleveland. Michael King on for his first shift of the night, or of the day, and he has scored 5 goals in his last 6 shots, but he's been an odd man out for Cleveland. As gifted a player as he's been, he's had a hard time finding some playing time. Turnaround.
He was the fourth leading scorer in the league last year.
Johns again with a save. A rebound was there for a moment, but not any longer. King has been victimized because Mike Sweeney came back and got himself back into the lineup, and then you've got Hoskeby playing there, and the team was winning, and coaches don't want to make changes when you're winning. Ball played up on the left side. We already told you, Dawkins doesn't even like to change his jacket when they're winning. Left side, Ion. All the way back now to Ralph Black at the midfield line. 7:13 to go here in the second quarter. 4-3, Cleveland leading it. Lead pass on the left side. Medved trying to settle it down. It was kicked away, but Sweeney, dangerous play right in front of Torres Kabrichin. Sweeney was a battler. Suspended for some 5 weeks. This team was undergoing some real problems there. But Sweeney, to his credit, was able to come back. And players have really fought hard together now. They're more a team, as you were saying before. Here's Black right across off the deflection. That's wide. Medved trying to redirect it.
Sweeney said he felt that much better. He's fresh and he's ready to push towards the playoffs now.
And the playoffs are something that the Crunch could only whisper about last year, but right now they're thinking more about second place. They're not saying how far ahead they are from Wichita. They're trying to catch Baltimore. Medved.
This is an important game for Tacoma, too, because they started off so well. Things started to unravel a bit. They've stabilized, but you're getting into the later stage of the season, and especially a home game. You don't want to give these away because as you get down that home stretch, it's tougher and tougher to come up with wins.
And in the West, you see how strong San Diego and St. Louis both look, and you know that Dallas with Tattoo is behind you, so you're always going to be looking over your shoulder there. Left side, Black with a pass up for Kinsey.
It really gets tough to win on the road later in the season.
Andy Schmetzer trying to help Cleveland win on the road here to Ritchie. A header, what a great score! Andy Schmetzer followed that one up on his own, and it's 5-3 for Cleveland. That's textbook.
That's a beautiful goal because it was good positioning, a well-timed run by Andy Schmetzer. And Andy Schmetzer's been having just one heck of a game. He's been working all over the field. It's good to see him rewarded because he dishes this ball off to Ritchie, who uses the boards. And look at Schmetzer. He's all over that ball, just hammers it down with the head into the net.
As we go to break, the Crunch are leading it by the score of 5-3 on that Andy Schmetzer score at 8:53.
Born of the finest natural ingredients, then brewed and aged with extra care for that clean, crisp, cold taste. The taste only Budweiser can deliver. The king of beers.
Cleveland leading at 5-3. Andy Schmetzer's goal is 19th goal of the season. That's one more than he had all of last year. But you're right, he's playing with some passion here coming back to Tacoma. Next week, Wichita with Roy Turner behind the bench against Gordon Jago behind the bench. 2 coaching changes, 2 old faces coming back behind the bench, and both teams now trying to get their teams right back in the playoffs. That should be a big one.
They don't look that old, JP.
Oh, I didn't mean it that way. Here's some Tacoma goals first.
Gary Heel cutting inside, takes a left-footed shot. It's off target. Kinsey, though, smells an opportunity. That's what a good goal scorer has to do, be there to pounce on the loose ball, and that's what he did as the ball came off the boards. He's there and put it away.
It was his 17th goal of the year from Heel at 6'11". That was a big goal. It seemed to bring the Tacoma Stars right back in, but that header goal is so spectacular by Andy Schmetzer on the give and go, and most of the time when you see a give and go in indoor soccer, that ball never leaves the ground, and that was a special goal for Andy Schmetzer. Off the header is 19th at 8:53, and right now at 6:07 to go in the first half, it's a 5-3 lead for Cleveland. Joe Waters with it for Tacoma, sending it long. Right back, Kinsey, wide, rebound shot too high. And even though that goal is a foot higher, it would have needed to go about 2 or 3 feet higher for that one by Milano to have gotten through.
Tacoma definitely had more near misses. This one Cleveland did not miss on. As we see Schmetzer, he streaks through to follow his own pass and get it back from Ritchie off the boards. A headed goal. It's always a pretty goal when a guy is able to strike it with his head, and that one he had to follow through and just buried it into the net.
one of the things when you see Ritzy getting the assist, they're using the boards. The boards are the thing that really confused the outdoor player coming in, and he used those boards picture perfect with Schmetzer on the give and go. P.J. Johns holding up. We'll take a look at a bunch of things at halftime, including some updated standings and scoring leaders, and a look at the All-Star game as Karich finds James, and he just shot it too high. But Cleveland that time taking advantage of a Tacoma breakdown defensively. There were several players with a lot of space there.
Well, that's what we've seen. We've seen Tacoma go forward and have a lot of chances blocked on the line or saved at the last second. Cleveland comes forward. They look that much more dangerous each time that they do.
Kansas City has beaten Baltimore 7-6 today. A big win for Kansas City right before the All-Star break. You know, they were saying that Jan Goossens might have to undergo some kind of arthroscopic surgery because his knee's been bothering him. I don't know what he did today or if he did today. I assume he did, but he had 5 goals the last time he played.
Well, Trevor Dawkins will want to know about that result. He could tell his team they could be just 1 game out of first with a victory here today. I'm sorry, out of second, as they try and catch up with the Baltimore Blast, who are currently 2 games ahead of them, but have just lost. I guess 1.5 now would be the case until this game is completed.
Milano gives it straight up. Billy Cook shot, touchdown, P.J. Johns. Cook has been an offensive threat this year. They use him a lot more in set pieces. He's gotten 15 goals this year. Normally he scores 4 or 5. Played upfield now. Now on the run, Joey Waters from his defender's position. Waters in some traffic, knocks it out. Cook can tee it up. Right-footed shot, blocked by Bernie James. That one stung him as it comes all the way back to Vaccaro. Now Waters playing it long. James defending against Medved. And a handball, they're going to say, on Medved and trying to control it off the glass, and he kicked it away. And Hector Marnau wanted him to get a penalty for that. He kicked the ball away from the official right in front of Torres.
Well, you know why Hector wants him to get a penalty for that? Because Hector's probably gotten a few, more than a few in his career for exactly the same thing. So they always want to make sure that everything is applied uniformly.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad Hector didn't get a call for arguing that because he was right. The ball was kicked away. Right. Here's Marinaro, broken up. Kinsey, all the way back now to Vaccaro. Vaccaro had 11 assists in 1 year, so he knows how to help a team score as well as defend. Freddie Thompson was wide open, and now it is deflected back to P.J. Johns. 4:22 to go here in the first half of play, and Cleveland leading at 5-3. Hagen knocking it back. Play to the back now to P.J. Johns, sending it long. Too long for Karich. Karich will get it, though. He's got Hagen breaking right. Karich puts it on the right foot, then back left. He still has it, and then he chipped up into the area. I thought he had fallen down, but he thinks he was clipped.
He was put much earlier, which may have thrown off his timing just a bit. It's too bad he couldn't keep his balance because he had put on a couple first-class moves. It would have been a heck of a goal if he'd managed to finish it.
Tacoma with 1 more foul than Cleveland. Taken away now by Ritzy, who had an assist on that last goal. Scored by Andy Schmetzer. Now it's Fernandez with 3.5 to go here in the first half of play. Cleveland leading it by a pair. Up the right side for Andy Schmetzer. Schmetzer holding it. Now knocking it back. Dave Hagen with it in midfield. All the way across to Bernie James.
A player that the Tacoma Stars have been doing without most of the season, Neil Megson, a former All-Star. Problems coming back from a knee injury. They really did miss him. They've seemed to be able to get around without him. Last year, they really struggled, I think, without him, and it put that much more pressure on Preki to try and do the job here.
Glad you mentioned that. That was a point I wanted to bring up before because Megson was bothered by the knee injuries. We look at Zoran Karich and another great game he's having, but Megson adds so much to this team, but we understand it's the same knee that is bothering him right now, so it might be tough for him attempting a comeback. An original member of this Tacoma Stars team and a very popular player as well. And adds a lot of toughness to the back, can go forward and score goals as well. Upfield now for Gary Heel. Bothered by Bernie James. Heel will knock it back. If you're a follower of the Major Soccer League and you're wondering why Heel looks different, he shaved off his mustache that he's had for about the last 8 years, and he does look a bit different. Shaved it on the drive home from St. Louis to Tacoma. Far side, Heel looking to get it back, but James blocked his path. And now it's Andy Schmetzer with 2:45 to go in the first half. Right back to James, being paired now with George Fernandez at the back. Sweeney was open. Mike Sweeney on the right side to Andy Schmetzer. Back down to James, across to Fernandez. George says his team really is starting to believe in themselves now, and that's exactly what winning does. And Fernandez knows he's played on some championship teams with San Diego. Nice tackle by James to win it. Fernandez to Haskavy. Last time I saw Cleveland play, they were blown out in San Diego. It was as bad as a team could look. And then they played worse after that against this Tacoma team, but they are a different club right now. Coming back, it's Greg Ion. Left side, McCormick along the boards. Knocking it back out. Bill Crook. Haskavy on him. Crook has nowhere to go. Haskavy forcing him to the boards. Back to McCormick.
Cleveland got in trouble last time they did this. Staying back and just defending. Finally something opened up for Tacoma. I think they're looking at the clock with only 1:40 to go, figuring they can just weather the rest of this storm, but they may want to get a few attacks going.
Coming back on the right side, here's Billy Crook. A right-footed blast, and that one goes into the seats and out of play with 1:32 to go. That stops the clock as we look at Bill Crook, one of those local players that Ty Key was mentioning before. 15 goals. He's played in every game, which is a switch for him after last year when he missed some 16 games with a knee sprain. And I remember Bill Crook coming into this league. All they used him for was a defensive runner to replace the Jungles and the Preckies of this team, and now he's a regular.
Gained a great deal of confidence and poise. He's very solid at the back there. This Tacoma team probably has as much local flavor as any team in the league, except perhaps St. Louis or Baltimore. Baltimore has a few guys from the New Jersey area, you know, nearby the eastern seaboard. But Tacoma, with their 6 guys on their roster from the Pacific Northwest. St. Louis has 5 guys from the St. Louis area with their team.
Willen will give it up now to P.J. Johns with 1:23 to go in the first half, and a 5-3 Cleveland lead, which they'd love to take into the dressing room at the half. At least that lead, that 2-goal lead. Here's James as Willen was nailed on that far side. Willen holding it. Carpin putting pressure on. So is Radwanski. Long pass too far away from Carriage, and Vaccaro plays it. Now to Willie Milano. Milano had some great years with the Los Angeles Lasers before being traded to Dallas, even up for Marcio Leite. And spent the last few years in Dallas, and now he's with the Stars. Here's Ralph Black. Back to Ristich. Slow pass back to Vaccaro. Looking long for either Carpet or Heel, and a collision, and they're going to call that one the other way. Greg's going to be on Heel.
Greg Willen liked the call. But Gary Heel did have the arm up in Willen's face, which sometimes is just for self-defense, especially with a guy like Willen, but that one was definitely Heel's foul.
Here's Karich. Look at that move. A shot to score. What a brilliant goal by Zoran Karich. And a little celebration at the end.
Chris Vaccaro just folds his arms, crosses his arms on his chest. There's nothing you can do about that, because there's very few guys in this league, or very few guys that I've seen anywhere or in the world of soccer that can make that kind of move in that tight of a space, moving at that rate of speed. And we're going to watch it here as the ball pops out to Carriage in behind Ralph Black, and he winds up a fake and now uses the sole of his foot just to change the direction of the ball, and then is still quick enough and has good enough balance to recover to put the ball then into the upper corner with the left foot. And that takes a great deal of skill to be able to maneuver in a tight space like that, going that fast, and still get the shot off, because you or I make that move, if we can make it, we probably fall down after we make it and can't get the shot off.
Well, thanks for putting me in that category.
It is. It's difficult to change directions like that and keep your balance well enough to take a good shot.
Give James the assist on it. Big goal for Cleveland coming near the end of the half. And now we're down to 17 seconds. Willen will bring it back. Carriage beat 2 players and froze 4, including the goalkeeper, on that dribble and cut. Here's Hagen. Now to Michael King, only his second shift of the quarter, of the half, I should say. Back to James with time running down. And what a first half this has been for the Cleveland Crunch. 6-3. They will take that lead into the dressing room at halftime. But Zoran Karich has 3 of those goals. And Zoran Karich was a man that man, Keith Weller, knew to talk about before this game. Trevor Dawkins will take his club off the field, and he's got to be happy, and he hopes that they can duplicate that effort in the second half of play. Cleveland has done well when it had the lead at halftime. We'll recap and we'll show you the standings, and we'll meet the All-Stars when we come back.
Love those humps down there.
Excitement gets into your blood.
I think it's great.
The Major Soccer League, where it roars indoors.
It's not simply a game. It's an era of fitness, health, muscle development, body toning, beauty, and power. It's the era of Soloflex. Become a part of it. Call anytime for a free brochure.
Welcome back to Tacoma, everyone, with Ty Keogh. I'm John Paul Della Camera. It's a 6-3 lead for the Crunch. They're leading the Stars at the end of the first half. We talked about how important this game was, and the standings should reflect all of that, and we're going to update it for you. First of all, we'll take a look at the West. What a year St. Louis has had. A high-powered offense, and they're in first place in San Diego, a red-hot team only a half game down. Then it gets closer, and then look at Dallas.
Dallas is kind of an enigma when you think about what fine teams they've had down there, disciplined teams with tattoo on top of it, just not getting it together so far this year. Tacoma, as we mentioned, had led their division for the first couple of months of the season, but now St. Louis has come on, and San Diego, always a team that's in there towards the end. This game here, important for the Eastern Division standings because we just heard that Baltimore lost to Kansas City, so Cleveland can move up in those standings and come within a game of second place.
And those standings are updated to reflect, we're told, the Kansas City result. The win over Baltimore today, 7-6, was the final of that. Look at Wichita right there in the basement, a spot that they're not accustomed to. They made the playoffs every year but one in their long existence. Time right now to salute some players of the week here at halftime as we see that Cleveland is leading it by the score of 6-3. Our payday offensive player of the week happens to be Thompson Usean, and he had a great week as the stats show you for St. Louis.
A couple of victories over the weekend for St. Louis against Wichita and Kansas City, and Thompson Usean, Tomo, we call him, coming into his own, and a large part of that is Preki, because now Thompson Usean, all the attention goes to Preki. Usean's making the most of it.
And our Jolly Rancher defender of the week, and this guy's been here before.
Many times, perennial all-star, former member of the U.S. Olympic and national teams. One of the steadiest, most intelligent defenders that you'll find anywhere.
And one of the reasons why San Diego, despite all the changes that they've made, is right up near the top of the standings in the Major Soccer League's Western Division. Still a lot more to come your way from Tacoma, including highlights and stats and a look at the All-Stars when we come back. You're watching the Major Soccer League Game of the Week.
Wednesday, it's the Major Soccer League Mid-Season Classic. See indoor soccer's best display their talents at the 12th Annual MSL All-Star Game. The Pittsburgh Penguins. Now that Super Mario is back, can anyone stop the Penguins? The New York Islanders entering a new era behind super scorer Pat LaFontaine. Wednesday nights, take a closer look at America's future Olympic stars on U.S. Olympic Showcase. See an encore presentation of the Women's Gymnastics DTB Focal Cup, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on Sports Channel America, Wednesday.
Planning. Where'd I get the capital to start this business with my daughter? By investing for the long haul. And forget full commission brokers. I called Charles Schwab. Munis, mutual funds, blue chips, and I save plenty with Schwab's low commissions. Every day I tell my daughter, think long-term. Make your own decisions. Be your own man.
For a free Schwab Fact Kit, call toll-free 800-841-0300.
The New York Islanders entering a new era behind super scorer Pat LaFontaine. The Pittsburgh Penguins. Now that Super Mario is back, can anyone stop the Penguins? The Isles in Pittsburgh, 7:30 Eastern on Sports Channel America, Thursday.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Tacoma Dome here in Tacoma, Washington. We're at the end of the first half of play. It is a 6-3 lead for the visitors from Cleveland. Zoran Karic putting on an all-star performance today. He already has 3 goals and 1 assist. And Ty Keogh, Zoran Karic, one of those players that we're going to look at the all-star game coming up this Wednesday. Should be a great show.
Well, some of the skills that you're seeing in today's game are the things that you're going to be able to see from many players when you assemble an all-star cast. And he's one of many, as we mentioned, Chico Boja, Dale Irvine, Jan Goossens, attacking players who can take on people in tight spaces and still score great goals, just like we saw Karic do today.
And for the Western Division, there'll be some very familiar faces on there as well. First, more of the East. Fernandez, the most valuable player from a year ago. Kim Rundved's always there.
Goalkeeping, Scott Manning there for Baltimore. Jimmy Gorsick, a guy making his first appearance after all those great years he had in San Diego. He's come over to Kansas City. They're having a great year in first place in the Eastern Division, well earned by Jim Gorsick. The Western Division All-Stars, Gary Heel, Kevin Smith. You see the flavor of it. The large you'll see when you see the second page of this. 5 San Diego players, 5 St. Louis players, the top 2 teams in that Western Division.
No coincidence, is there? We see Ralph Black coming back. Darryl Duran, Wes McLeod always up there with block shots in favor of the Dallas Sidekicks. And then we've got Kevin Crow, who is a perennial all-star as well. And the goalkeepers, one of them is playing today.
One of them, Chris McCarroll, playing today, leading the league, as we mentioned, in goals against average. Victor Noguera from San Diego, named the Defensive Player of the Month in the Major Soccer League. He's a fine goalkeeper.
Well, we talked about the All-Star game coming up this Wednesday. The players are excited to be there. We're excited to be there as well. Earlier in the day, we had a chance to talk to the players who are going to be performing in that All-Star game. And here's what some of them who were in today's game had to say about that.
It's always nice to be selected by the other players in the league. Feel quite honoured about it. It's nice to be back here in Tacoma performing a little bit. Had a bit of a tough year last year. So, you know, overall it's worked out quite nicely. I'm quite pleased.
Yeah, it's nice to be an all-star. It's also nicer to be picked by the peers of the people that you play with all the time. And I haven't been an all-star for quite a long time, and I'm looking forward to going into this all-star and having a good time.
Oh, it's a tremendous honor. I have to credit the players in front of me because you're only as good as the people in front of you. And I'm looking forward to it again, and hopefully the West will succeed and become victorious.
Well, it's a great honor, and you know, I'm very happy. I'm very fortunate. I think this year I haven't had the season that I wanted to have, but for some reason, you know, I was chosen, and I thank God for that.
Oh, it's extra special for me because last year I was selected to the team and I didn't get to play because of an injury, and I'm really looking forward to going this year and having a good time and playing in the game, playing with all those great players, and just having a lot of fun.
I'm happy because I play for All-Star. This is my second year, and I think this is my first year I play very well, and I'm just happy playing for All-Star.
That was Zoran Karic, our last player. Ty, I'd like to see what 2 feet wider in terms of the goal, 1 foot higher will do when you put all those all-stars together on one floor Wednesday.
It's great fun. I mean, what all those guys are trying to say, obviously they're honored, but some of the pressure is off. They can just go there and really do their thing, and the fans are the ones that profit from it.
We'll take a look at highlights and stats when we come back to Tacoma. Cleveland leads it 6-3.
Stay with Sports Channel America every night after the main event and get the latest news, interviews, scores, and highlights from the world of sports. Sports Nightly. See it exclusively on the Sports Channel America Network tonight.
What a party! Yeah! Hey, remember all those great campus parties in the 60s? Well, Sessions has a new 4-record set that's just loaded with all those great memories. It's called 60s Frat Rock. Just listen.
My baby does a hanky-panky.
Let's hang on to what we've got. Who's making love?
60s Frat Rock is available on 4 records or 2 cassette tapes for only $19.95.
2 CDs, just $24.95.
Here's how to order.
Call toll-free 1-800-841-0300 or save COD fees by sending $19.95 for 4 records or 2 cassettes or $24.95 for 2 compact discs, plus $4 shipping and handling to 60s Frat Rock, P.O. Box 4670, Omaha, Nebraska.
1-900-896-2333. The Sports Channel America Sports Hotline for all the scores.
In a 3-2 overtime thriller.
For sports news.
Some big free agent signings today.
1-900-896-2333 is all you need. 24 hours a day, every day. Get late-breaking results and news on your favorite sport.
For basketball, press 1 now.
1-900-896-2333. The Sports Channel America Sports Hotline. Call today. Friday nights, America's young superstars light up the scoreboard with the best in high school basketball. See it only on the National Federation High School Game of the Week. See it at 8 Eastern, only on Sports Channel America next Friday.
Welcome back, everyone. At halftime, it's a 6-3 lead in favor of the Cleveland Crunch over the Tacoma Stars. Zoran Karic, 1 goal away from that charmed 50 circle. We've got a bunch of goals to show you today. 9 of them if we can get through them all, and here they are in order.
Better get my breath here. This one's starting off very early in the game. Ralph Black steals a clearance. Now slots it off to Mark Carpin. Carpin finds the empty net in behind P.J. Johns. Ralph Black starts the play, gets the assist. Carpin gets the goal. And it's a question of P.J. Johns being under pressure and not clearing the ball well. The second goal, this one just a quick little restart. Hagen slides it back to Karic. Karic is already winding up. He strikes it. It's still rising as it gets up over Chris Vaccaro. And the difference there is that 15-foot rule. Because when that ball is shoved back to Karic, he does not have a defender right in his face. He can get the shot off. And then it's Karic again to put Cleveland up 2-1. And it's Andy Schmetzer doing so much work here, breaking through the Tacoma defense. His shot's blocked. The rebound comes out to Karic, this time with the left foot, putting it through the legs of Carpin, screening Vaccaro. It's off to the far side. Vaccaro disappointed, but he didn't have a good look at it because of the defenders out in front of him. And Karic, smart enough to hit that ball first time before Vaccaro has a good look at it.
And on Karic's second goal, it was his 48th goal of the season.
Then it was Tacoma's turn. A little battle there along the board. Sean Medved pokes it out to Kinsey. Kinsey dishes it back. Now Medved will use the boards to find Freddie Thompson, who's all by himself out in front. P.J. Johns had come to the near post to try and cover that, but he could not cover the far post. Here's Karic, who had won the ball off of Ralph Black, and it was controversial. He may have fouled Black, but he knocks the ball back to Willen, who follows through with the heavy left foot, just hammering the ball to the far side. Vaccaro's down on his knees again, pulling one out of his own net. Here we have a defensive breakdown coming up. The ball just cleared. Looked like Andy Schmetzer again there, playing it long out of his own end. The ball's loose, and Ristich looks like he has it won easily, but Hagen sneaks in behind him as the back pass is not hit hard enough. Vaccaro's now caught out in no man's land. Hagen lifts it over to him. An easy goal it looked, but some good hustle by Hagen and some good anticipation.
That was all of the scoring in the first quarter of play, and nothing happened till the second quarter. And you noticed Tacoma was picking up, and then they were rewarded for their play.
They were. The pressure was on, and Cleveland just defending. Finally, Heel, a good move, hits the ball in off the boards. Kinsey follows through, just streaking through the box as he can do. He's got that burst of speed. He got in there first and beat P.J. Johns.
Kinsey's goal made it 4-3, so once again Tacoma came close, but you know, not since they scored that first goal have they led in this game. They tied it once.
And this next one is the goal of the game so far as Schmetzer coming down midfield, looks up, nice little pass off to the side to Marco Rizzi, who was overlapping from the back. Now Rizzi uses the boards. Look at this ball and the placement of Schmetzer's header as he comes flying through to square up with the ball and bury it into the back of the net. The boards were used well, and a fine header by Andy Schmetzer. We've got the last goal here in the 3-screen as we see Karic, who danced through a whole maze of Tacoma players. A tremendous move. And then look at the placement on the shot as he beats Vaccaro into that upper corner.
Karic's 49th of the year from Bernie James at 14:27. That was the key time, 33 seconds near the end of that first half of play. How about this first stat? Chris Vaccaro has made only 1 save in this whole first half, and P.J. Johns has made 10. Nice work, everyone in the truck. I don't think I've ever done 9 replays. I
got to catch my breath
Go
right
for
now.
oxygen.
Yeah, little oxygen here. We got the stats here too, and this tells some of the story, especially if you look at the shots. 19 shots for Tacoma Stars, but Cleveland has been a little lucky. They've held on, they've scrapped, they've been able to put a block on it. P.J. Johns has made a few saves. On the other hand, when Cleveland goes down, like you said, Vaccaro's only got 1 save. It seems like whenever Cleveland does attack, they score. And that's the difference in this game so far. The fouls are almost the same, but look at that, 10 saves for P.J. Johns, only 1 for Chris Vaccaro. So Cleveland kind of holding on there and blocking shots and keeping things alive. Meanwhile, at the other end, it seems like it all happens at once, and they give up a goal.
Cleveland would love to take those shooting percentages for the rest of the year. 6 goals on 12 shots. There's Trevor Dawkins. Said to me earlier that he's changed a few things. He thinks he's improved the team's work ethic. He's had them working a lot harder, but that's what the difference is. It's too tough to be a player coach in this league, no matter how good you can be or no matter how good you are. So Dawkins being a full-time coach, that has made a difference. Now you've got Hoskeby, a great player, back on the field, healthy. Sweeney, gifted player, same deal. So they're a much stronger team, and they're showing it here so far in the early stages. 6-3 at the end of the first half of play. Third quarter, second half underway. Hagen dummies it through for Hoskeby. Hoskeby holding. Looking to set things back up now to Willen. Willen just holding it. Being chased by Freddie Thompson. Now back for Bernie James. And back to P.J. Johns, making Tacoma chase.
Tacoma looking for high pressure, though. See if they can't force a mistake out of Cleveland.
Ralph Black sending it forward. Hagen trying to trap that one. Now gets control of it. Up on the right side, looking for Marinaro. Bumped by Radwanski. Hoskeby getting it. Off the boards, back for Kai Hoskeby. Here's Marinaro's shot, just tipped high.
I think Vaccaro made a great save there. He may only have 2 saves in this game, but that one was a big one.
Bernie James, neutral zone. Intercepted. Here's Radwanski. Back now to Ralph Black, now to Thompson. Here comes Black. He's got plenty of room. Black over the line, pass to Hill, a shot, he scores! Stars top scorer gets one, 1:05 into the start of this third quarter.
Black with his second assist of the game, a similar play to the first goal of the game when he got the ball at midfield. This time he uses the right foot, though, to push it over to Gary Hill. And Gary Hill coming inside with his right foot, blasting it high over the shoulder of P.J. Johns. And a guy like Ralph Black, as hard of a hitting defender as he is, he also knows what to do when he comes forward. And he does place the ball well for Gary Hill. Hill strikes it well, too. It's a well-coordinated attack on the counterattack.
A look at Gary Hill with his 23rd goal of the season, and the assist going to Ralph Black. Time of the score, 1 minute and 5 seconds. Gary Hill better than 300 games in the Major Soccer League, and coming back after his worst year statistically, career-wise in the Major Soccer League. Hernandez will play it up the left side, now to Karich, and it seems like every time Tacoma gets a goal, Cleveland comes right back, and they don't let Tacoma get themselves back into it. See what happens here. Waters off the boards. Will get it back himself. Now back to Vaccaro. Chris Vaccaro, 4 times a 20-game winner in this league.
Give some credit to Vaccaro again. He made a big save, and now his team scores at the other end. How many times have you seen that? Because if he lets that one go in, it's a completely different game.
Here's Ion to Carpin. Nice cut. Shot was right at P.J. Johns, though, after Carpin made the great move. Now it's Karich coming back the other way. Zoran Karich, there's that cut. Left-footed shot right along the carpet, and Vaccaro is right there.
So quick to be able to change direction. Karich, he gets the guy just leaning enough, and suddenly he's off in the other direction. He just darts away.
There's Fernandez. Played on the same San Diego team with Karich.
And Ralph Black.
That's right. Ex-teammates. Here's Hagen. Knocking it off the boards. There's Andy Schmetzer. What a work rate Schmetzer's had this game. He's not stopped running. Ball played out. Johns is caught. Medved. Johns stays with him. Off the boards. Knocked away by Hagen. And coming back, it's a 2-on-1 if Schmetzer can control it. Now Black hustles back with some help from Ristich. Karich on the right foot. Got to credit P.J. Johns. He was way out of position and made a great play on the rookie Medved, and then give credit to Hagen and others for getting in the right position.
That's the important thing. If your keeper's out, you got to get in there and protect the goal, and Cleveland did it well. If they hadn't, it's history.
3-4 weeks ago, that would have been a goal against this team.
They'd all been watching.
Yep. And maybe blaming others.
Pointing fingers.
Yeah.
Take him.
Here's Ritchie coming back against Kinsey. 6-4, Cleveland up by a pair. 11:53 to go in the third quarter. Is Hoskeby with a 12-game scoring streak on the line today. Kinsey will break it up. Hoskeby putting the pressure on. Ritchie barreling in. Now the ball is taken by Ristich, but Cleveland doing well there in a high-pressure situation. Here's Vaccaro, wide open though. No one picked up Kinsey. Hagen backtracking. Kinsey in the right corner, looking for Heel, who comes right back out, but P.J. Johns did well following that carom.
And Heel has now gone 7 games consecutively with at least 1 goal. Keeps that streak alive in 9 games with a point. What a year he's had.
Carriage will knock it back now to Fernandez. Heel was a question mark because of a Charlie horse. Seems to be running pretty well. He may tell us later that he was in some pain, but he's doing his best not to show it out there.
He's probably loosened up. It'll tighten up afterwards.
Right side now, it's Ralph Black at his own red line. Less than 11 minutes to go in the third. Johns came out. He and Heel collide.
Tough play there. You see how physical play can be in this league. Heel, a big target player, going up for the ball, but Johns coming straight through him, taking no prisoners.
Milano and Carpin play back and forth with it. Now back to Bill Crook. Intercepted by Fernandez. Lost it off the touch. Now Sweeney helps out to Kirich. And back for Mike Sweeney. Remember Canada's World Cup team back in '86. Over to Bernie James. Now to Kirich. Looking to attack with numbers of the crunch. The shot is blocked. Knocked back. Marinaro. A right footer is low, but it did enough bouncing there to bother Vaccaro for a moment or two.
Another player that Tacoma is playing without is Kia. The quick, high-scoring forward. He's had some injury problems this year. He's had an ankle problem. He was thinking about coming back in this game, and Bernie James was talking to him out in the hall of the locker before the game. He said, well, you know, Kia, maybe you really don't want to come back for this game.
He is dressed, though. He's on the bench, but he's not taking a shift. You're right. John's pass across. Now it's Bernie James with 9:48 to go. Still in the third quarter. Tacoma has scored 1 goal. That's been all of the scoring. Willens snuck by Steve Kinsey. Willens passed out of Kirich with 3 goals and 1 assist already, looking for goal number 50 of the year. Marinaro shot just wide. Rebounded all the way out to Willen.
Marinaro never bashful about letting go on the trigger.
There's Willen. Marinaro headed for another 50-goal season, which he did back with the Minnesota Strikers. 58 goals one season. Right side of Milano. Milano just holding on to it. Now plays it across. Knocked ahead now to Kinsey. Marinaro chasing. Heel. Picked up by Bernie James. Right side Waters, and he just missed. Johns did a great job of denying that angle. But Waters still with that bigger goal. Remember, 2 feet wider.
There's more of that far post to shoot at, so he went for it.
Makes you wish you could make a comeback maybe and be a goal scorer maybe?
Yeah, that's what I would do. I'd just hang up top, I guess.
Here's Bernie James. Cleveland settling things down here. Right side to Fernandez. Hagen and Hoskeby making crisscrossing runs in the neutral zone. And now Hoskeby in the attack zone, but it comes right back to Vaccaro with 8:28 to go in the third. 6-4 Cleveland with a 2-goal lead. Kirich has been a big story with 4 points, 3 goals, 1 assist, and a goal or 2 for the highlight film. Knocked away, and Radwanski would have broke in if he could have maintained possession. That was easier said than done. Here's Marinaro. Quickly, they look to counter to Hoskeby, and Marinaro goes off on a change. Andy Schmetzer coming on. Schmetzer with one of the better goals of this day on a header on a given goal from Ritzy in that second quarter. Fernandez holding it. Back to Bernie James. Now to Hagen. Hagen missed some games earlier, 7 games with an Achilles problem, and he's got a mean-looking blister on his left foot, so he's been hurting. Several of these players are.
Sometimes a little pain helps a guy focus on the game.
Especially if you already have one bad foot, you get kicked in the other, it makes you forget about the other one. Here's Heel into the attacking zone, picked up by Andy Schmetzer. Gary Heel uses the left boards, but right off the boards, P.J. Johns is there with 7:22 left in the third. Hagen knocking it forward, not far enough to go to Andy Schmetzer.
He may have left some skin on the AstroTurf on that one.
Hoskeby looking for this one. Cuts it back. Hoskeby on the Major Soccer's all-decade team, and
has Joe Waters decked Andy Schmetzer. Waters not quite there in time to win the race to the ball. Certainly won the race to the back of Andy Schmetzer's ankles.
Played across down the right side. Crunch holding it right at that midfield line with Hagen. Now to Fernandez. Fernandez, team captain of the Crunch.
Right in his face. That's it.
Knocked back now to Randy Schmetzer. Play has slowed down here in this third quarter. Up the right wing boards, here is Ritzy. He had an assist before. Last time Cleveland went into this kind of a situation, they get burnt. But right now, they're doing okay. Cleveland, 11-2 when they're leading at the half. And Tacoma is the opposite. They're 3-10 when they trail at the half. And at this time, those are good trends. Early in the season, you can't really count on those.
Well, they're dictating the pace here. If they can pick and choose their times of when they're going to attack and attack selectively. Obviously, you don't want to go forward with too many players and get burned on the counterattack.
And this one's certainly not over yet. Here's Radwanski coming back, cutting it. Kinsey, open shot, blocked by two players. Fernandez and Ritzy were there.
Team defense, guys willing to sacrifice. You see two defenders throwing their bodies in front of the shot.
I wonder who the statistician will give that block shot to. Into the corner, here's Radwanski. Turning, not getting enough on that turn. Ritzy did a good job not giving him full force on that turn.
Eddie Radwanski wanted to make sure we said hello to all his buddies back in Neptune, New Jersey. He said they'd be tuning in on Sports Channel.
And we had a couple requests to say hello to people in New Jersey. New Jersey's big today for some reason.
Chris Vaccaro.
Yeah. Milano. Hold it. Willie now waiting as the Stars send Ralph Black on in a change. Now to Medved. The rookie had a couple of goals in an early win against San Diego this season. Medved now taken down by Marinaro. Hector welcoming him to the Major Soccer League with that foul.
Well, Hector's been fouled a few times in his career, too,
yeah.
so he knows what it's like. Sean Medved cuts the ball. Now defending is Marinaro. He's there late. He's not going to get to the ball, so he takes the legs. I think he just needed a breather. But there's two things that are going to happen here for Cleveland. We'll get to it in a second.
How about now?
Well, with Ralph Black with the left foot, it's always a threat. But for Cleveland, one of two things going to happen. They can forget about attacking too much and end up in that defensive shell that cost them earlier in the game on a couple goals. Or they could start to come forward and really create some good opportunities.
There's a score. Were they caught there as Carpin scores?
They were just caught on a quick steal. I think not so much the pace of the game there. Some good play by Tacoma. And Carpin really finished it nicely because he doesn't try and overpower it. And it's Ralph Black again coming forward. He'll get the assist on this goal. He places it well. And across his body, Carpin is spinning, takes the ball with the left foot, places it to the opposite side.
So Ralph Black from the back, leading the Tacoma Stars back there, right back into the thick of things, down by one, still in the third quarter.
Love those humps down there.
Excitement gets into your blood.
I think it's great.
The Major Soccer League, where it roars indoors.
I'd like to remind you that the Major Soccer League official media guide is available for $15 at the following address, 4500 College Boulevard, Suite 308, Overland Park, Kansas, 66211. Everything you wanted to know about the Major Soccer League from its inception when they only had 6 teams and when Ty Keogh was a player. That's going back several years. We're dating you now, but that's available, $15. A job well done by the Major Soccer League's Public Relations Director, John Griffin. It is a 6-5 lead here by the Crunch as we look at the goal that brings the Stars back.
Well, we're looking at Ralph Black again coming forward from his defensive position to set up a goal. A well-timed pass. Carpin has set up well so that he could get the ball across his body and beat P.J. Johns, and it's a first-time shot, making it that much more difficult for the goalkeeper. And we talked about the great day that Zoran Karic was having with 3 goals and 1 assist. Take a look. The assist on the last 2 goals, Ralph Black, and on 1 other. So he's got 3 assists today, proving why he's an all-star defender.
And Black and Karic, part of 6 players on the field today who'll be at that all-star game Wednesday along with Ty and I in Kansas City right here on Sports Channel America, 8:30 Eastern time is that kickoff. Here's Hoskevy playing it long, and he just missed Greg Willen with Ion backtracking. This next goal is going to be an important one if Tacoma gets it. Look out for that momentum here at home. Here's Johns. It's deflected. It almost went it off McCormick.
That's the second time I've seen Tacoma do that really well and bring a guy off the bench. The ball is played to the front door as someone steps off the back door, and it's usually Gary Heel who's walking onto it.
Here comes Hagen the other way, the former Tacoma Star. Knocks it to the back now to Bernie James. James advancing across the line. Leaves it off. Hoskeby drills it. Broken up, and it comes back to Ralph Black.
But those are some of the things that were pioneered, perhaps, by Timo Liakowski because he had an ice hockey background with the Cleveland Force. But Ron Newman is the one that established it in San Diego when Jungle used to step off the bench and onto the field just as the ball was played.
Gaining the full length of the bench is an advantage. Played upfield. Ion trying to leave it. Here's a shot wide by Heel. That just missed, but he was wide open. Cleveland a bit negligent right now, giving the Stars too much room on those shots, and the shots are reflecting that as Johns makes the stop on the near side.
And of course, Ron Newman will be coaching the Western Division All-Stars, being assisted by Keith Weller, the Tacoma coach today.
Weller was an assistant with San Diego. Every place Weller has been as an assistant, they've won championships, Dallas and San Diego. And he's won some outdoor titles on his own. We've got a foul. They took Karich down. That's the only way that they've been able to stop Karich today.
And Karich is good at drawing those type of fouls. As he backs in, he's taking up a position in front of the goal. He's backing into Joe Waters, and when Joe Waters steps away, then he'll fall. Now, Waters may have been holding him slightly, but Karich certainly dramatizes it and makes it work to his favor.
Karich on this restart. Three-man wall for the Stars. Direct kick played out. Here's a shot taken just wide. Marinaro can't believe he missed it off the left foot.
Chris Vaccaro kissed the goalpost as he got over to it because that's all that saved him there.
Here's Andy Schmetzer with 1 goal today. Now to Hagen. 6-5 now. Puncher down or up by 1. They've had to lead the entire game except for the 57-second mark.
Watch Karich in the lower left with Joe Waters. What a matchup as he keeps backing up and jockeying for position.
Hagen. Look at Marty Temple, the official, scaling the glass to get out of the way. Official's got to be very agile here. Ball slips by, and Vaccaro says that's his. Karich
lost the battle. He lost the battle that time with Waters, but that's a heck of a matchup. If we can get that isolated better in that lower left-hand screen, you're going to see what a tremendous player Karich is, even when he does not have the ball, as he's taking up a position in front of the goal.
Milano coming back against Bernie James. Stars are 1 away from tying it, just too high. Medved trying to settle it down. James and he collide. Fernandez coming in. Milano wins it. The shot, though, is right at P.J. Johns, but a good effort from Milano and a quick toss for Karich. Waters right on him. Karich looked over the shoulder to see who was coming. And a foul is going to be called, and that's a tactical foul by Waters. But he didn't want Karich to turn and use numbers.
That's a physical battle there because Karich has got his arms up in Joe Waters' face. Right now, a few words passing between the two of them. They've just been fighting it out here, and this is a critical time in this game.
Give me back!
Right side. Knocked out now to Fernandez.
They're at it again out near the top of the arc.
Coming back the other way. By the way, that's the 3rd foul. What's this?
A wrestling match.
That's the 3rd foul, by the way, on Waters. Remember that new rule, 1 more, and he would have to sit out 2 minutes, so we'll see. He's still out there.
3rd foul in this half.
Yes.
In this quarter.
Yeah. Here's Hagen. Now to Karich. Couple of fakes. I wonder if Waters knows that he's playing with those 3 fouls right now. Usually a coach or an assistant will keep track of that on the bench.
Yeah, you don't want to have him be on Karich because eventually you might have to foul Karich to detain him.
And what you said was best before. Karich does draw fouls well as anyone. Here's Hagen. Trying to sneak by Milano. He doesn't buy those fakes. With 1.5 minutes left in the 3rd, Stars on the attack looking for the equalizer. They'll play it across to Ristich.
Cleveland got back well as a team. There are immediately 4 defenders in place, and now Tacoma has to change.
Stars settling it now with Ralph Black. Along the boards, Gary Heel took a bump and gave a kick back. They're going to call it obstruction, though. And now Willen bumps Heel. Torres Kibirchin didn't see it. I saw a bump there. I don't know whether Heel did something first, but...
No, it was Willen. It was all in good fun. But
well, it's not fun right there.
2 of the bigger guys on the field there going up against each other. All right, you can see things are heating up. Gary Heel, Willen's got to try and slow him down one way or the other, and that time he used the elbow.
Timeout call by the Stars. That's a good time to have heads get a little cool here. They wanted to see what the defense was giving them. This is a great chance for them to tie it, and you're allowed 1 timeout per half. If you don't use it, you go overtime. And Keith Weller might be hoping for overtime because they're 5-0 in overtime play this season. A reminder that coming up, our next TV game, the All-Star game in Kansas City on Wednesday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. 6 players from these 2 teams will be there, and all of the great stars in the Major Soccer League. It's unfortunate that one of the top players, Claudio De Oliveira, who was injured and out for the season for St. Louis, can't play, but Godfrey Ingram, a very popular player who used to play here at Tacoma and a member of the St. Louis Storm, will replace De Oliveira on the roster. So frustrating for players. I know Marinaro last year was named to the team, and he couldn't make it last year, but he'll make it this year. Here's Karich, who's had 3 goals and 1 assist, and even though he's had tough treatment, Ty, what's it like to have to mark someone like
look
this?
at the attention he draws, and Joe Waters knows he has to have a hand on him. He has to know where Karich is at all times. So Joe Waters watching the ball, but also keeping the hand, as we see, on Karich, staying as close as he can. But Karich, look at, uses his body, taking up the position. He's going to work him off the ball, and if he can, draw that foul or spin him. He can back into him, turn, and get the shot off so quickly.
Trevor Dawkins maybe telling Karich something about the 3 fouls that Waters has, because it's important for the offensive player to know that as well as the defensive player.
And he's also telling Karich, I think, maybe to keep your head. All right, you've been effective today. You've had a great game. Don't let Waters get your goat. Stay in there, get the important goal. Don't lash out and get a penalty because you're frustrated that the guy's really marking you tight.
On the restart, here's Carpet. A chance to tie it. Facing P.J. Johns in goal for Cleveland. And on the whistle, Carpet fakes, draws it back. Ralph Black shot blocked. Black may get it back in the area. Quick shot save. Oh, P.J. Johns robs Mark Carpet. Cleared out by Cleveland. Michael King. Only his 3rd shift was chasing that one down. Now it's Black. And Black was nudged along the boards by Sweeney. Maybe nudged is an understatement.
Now you got a little kicking after the play, too, and 2 similar kinds of players. If they're on the same team, they're best friends because they go out to win each and every game. You put them on opposing teams, and look out, it's like 2 piranhas in the same aquarium that are hungry.
On the same team, they're a tag team. Gary Heel will knock it
They're
back.
like, no, let me kick him. No, let me kick him.
Here's Ralph Black at midfield with 37 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. We still got a lot more to come your way from Tacoma. Another 15 minutes at least in the 4th. Sweeney knocks it away, leading Michael King. Couldn't get a shot off, and we told you earlier, 5 goals in his last 6.
6 shots, 5 goals.
Can't ask for much better than that. Here's Freddie Thompson. Right side of the field for Billy Crook.
That's the right choice. Send it up into Heel.
Time running down in this quarter, 7 seconds. Heel turning it around, but P.J. Johns is right there. And he'll just let the clock tick its way down. That ends the 3rd quarter of play. Don't count the Stars out at home. They're on the comeback trail, trailing only by 1 as we take this time now to pause for this regional break. You're watching the Major Soccer League Game of the Week. It's Tacoma and Cleveland here on Sports Channel America.
Catch great NBA action when the Cavs host the New York Knicks Friday at 8.
Chicago Blackhawks, a hard-working troop with their sights set on being the best. The Hartford Whalers, points-to winger Pat Ruby leads the Whale into battle. Chicago versus Hartford, 7:30 Eastern on Sports Channel America tonight.
You're living right, you're thinking light. So fresh, yeah, you're keeping fit. That's it. So fresh, long as you keep trying, you're gonna get going. So fresh.
Now, Long John Silver's has a lighter way to go. Our tender baked white fish. So get ready, get set.
So fresh, Long John Silver's.
Right now, come in and try our new baked fish light portions.
Wednesday nights, take a closer look at America's future Olympic stars on U.S. Olympic Showcase. See an encore presentation of the Women's Gymnastics DTV Pokal Cup, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on Sports Channel America, Wednesday.
6-5 for Cleveland. This is a replay of a chance just before for the Tacoma Stars. It's a set piece. The fake is to Radwanski. It's all the way through to Ralph Black. He strikes it with the right foot. It's partially blocked. He follows it through. Now the ball comes out to Carpin, and Carpin knows what to do with it. Put it low and hard to the opposite side, but P.J. Johns, what a save as he got his left foot out just to deflect it at the last second. And Carpin's been very good from both sides of the goal today so far, but this time P.J. Johns was there.
There's an updated look at our Major Soccer League leading scores. No surprise at the top two, and Carrick's really a force this season. You've got Goosens, Eugene, and Marinaro, so you've got number 3 and 6 scorers for Cleveland among the top 10 scorers in the Major Soccer League. We're just about set for the start of the fourth quarter.
Marinaro's been quiet today in terms of statistics.
Don't let that fool you, because he's the kind of guy that can break it open in the end. I talked about him earlier. 58 goals in 1 year, but that was after he went from 17. And it was during that year when he went from 17 to 58, he emerged as a true star in this league. And since then, he's in the high 40s after that.
That's when he went from Cleveland down to Los Angeles, where he got a lot more playing time, and was able to build his confidence.
Yeah, went with Minnesota 17, then 58, then to LA 47, and then another 40-goal year after that, and he'll be there again this year. Played on the right side down to Medved. Johns is coming out. P.J. Johns made 7 saves, and we showed you one spectacular one early. He made a few good ones in that third quarter to help stem the tide for Tacoma. There's Crook matched up there with Carrick.
Good left-handed toss there.
Not a bad one. Not a bad one. Cleveland will put the ball back in play on the restart. Cleveland without Joey Kozio. He's back at home. He's missed the last few games, and so has Rudy Pikashinsky. Otherwise, everyone here for Cleveland. We mentioned Tacoma playing without Mason, and Kia is on the bench dressed, but he's not had a shift.
He's already had 11 goals this afternoon coming into the final quarter of play. And Tacoma, to their credit, even though it looked bad for them at a few stages of this game, that home field advantage can really make a difference. I think perhaps if this game were on the road, and they're only, what is their road record? You said 7 and 10. 7 and 10 on the road. On the road, you get in a game like this, you're down by a few goals, it might be over. But at home, they pulled their way back into it.
And at home, they're 11 and 6. Tacoma was trailing 6-3 at one point on Carrick's last goal. Will he get some more? Carrick against Black. Look at how many players converge on Carrick. He draws 3. Sometimes he can beat 3. The shot taken, blocked in front, I thought, of his own player. Looked like Andy Schmetzer may have hit that. Coming back, it's Milano.
Milano's got a few moves of his own, but Carrick really playing with such supreme confidence. Players are afraid to get too close in on him. You'd think, oh, just go in and take the ball away from him. That's when he beats you.
Here's Gary Heel pushing it into the corner. Heel getting it back right across. John stopped it on the short side. It's still loose. Milano wants to turn. Great save. P.J. Johns. That might be the save of the game, because that would have been the tying goal, and Milano with a quick turn. Here's Heel. Looking. Turning it back. Blocked. Crunch. Holding the fort. And they can't do that all quarter without perhaps letting one in. Unless P.J. Johns just stands on his head. That's a lot to ask of somebody over the last 15 minutes.
And he's already made 4 or 5 of those today. Going back to the first quarter, because this game was much more even than the score sheet appeared even at halftime. We were talking about a 6-3 game at halftime, and it easily could have been a 6-6 ball game.
Look at the shots, 30-17. Tacoma after 3. Coming back the other way. King is broken up. Be interesting to see if Michael King gets some more shifts here and gets himself into this game. Didn't have many in the first half. He can score goals. Pascovic giving it up. Willen knocking it into space for Michael King. And it's broken up by Carpin. Knocked back now to Maccaro. Maccaro gives his team an added dimension because he can help set up goals as well. No one has scored more points among goalkeepers than Chris Maccaro over his MSL career.
He's got decent foot skills, but most of those have come from the quick release on the throw. He comes up throwing and can hit the guys, get them in the open for those goals.
One game that I called against Pittsburgh, 3 assists to Craig Allen, all the same play, long pass. Left side, here is Kinsey. Knocking it back down to Milano. Milano, a flashy player, trying to get by Willen, and Willen slowed down that flash a little. And Milano put it in a little quicker and about 5 feet ahead of where he's supposed to.
Well, a neat little hesitation step move by Milano there, and they almost could have given the advantage because he still had possession. On the other hand, how many times does a forward want to get kicked after he's made a nice move?
Look at Cleveland's record all time in the Tacoma Dome. Restart coming up here for Milano. Now it's Kinsey. Kinsey trying to get it back. Everybody's scrambling. It's getting more physical along those boards. King comes out of the pack, and he just explodes out of there. Right at midfield, here's Hoskevy. Kai Hoskevy wants to take a look at what he's got. Here's where you need the veterans like Hoskevy out there to settle things down in the situation. Tacoma obviously has gotten some momentum and gotten things going here. King. Now to James. Greg Willen sends it long, looking for Hoskevy, who can also be a gifted target player.
He controlled that ball well along the boards under heavy pressure from Freddie Thompson. It's not easy to do, to bring a high ball down like that, keep it close to your body, and hold the defender off.
P.J. Johns far from goal, and Kinsey knows it as he made a play for him. Up for Hoskevy. Hoskevy holds it well there, knocks it back to James. Cleveland using up a lot of clock here. What they can't afford is the bad pass and the counterattack the other way. Here's Hoskevy sending it back, all the way back. Sweeney on the chase.
Well, they almost can't afford to lull themselves to sleep. That's almost what's happened. They've been casual, and they've looked good. They've looked like they're dictating the pace, but they're also forgetting some of the things that have worked for them, which is strong attacks.
Lead pass for James. Vaccaro couldn't use his hands outside there, and now clears it back. You know, I can't remember the last good scoring chance Cleveland has had. It's been a while. Willen against the heavy pressure of Tacoma. Off the boards for Michael King. Lead pass. Karich. Freddie Thompson picks him up. 6-5, Cleveland leading it.
And we've not seen much of Marinaro in this half. Michael King taking some of his shifts, I surmise, and that could be due to an ankle injury that he's still not fully recovered from.
The ball is knocked right back now to Chris Vaccaro. Long throw. That's what we were talking about. Here's Kia's first shift. Kia blasting it high and wide. That'd be a good way to fake out Cleveland. Throw a guy out that can really run, that hasn't played a shift, and expose Cleveland defensively on a long pass. Here's Black. Long one, and that's still sailing. They had the element of surprise that time, and Ralph Black can't believe it. A reminder that this copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Major Soccer League and Soccer USA partners, and is intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, and or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Major Soccer League and Soccer USA partners is prohibited. With Ty Keogh, I'm John Paul Della Camera. We've got 9:51 to go in this fourth quarter. Stars are licking their chops. They want overtime because they're 5-0 in overtime play this year.
They've just thrown a little spark into their team. As you mentioned, Kia came streaking off of that bench as soon as Carroll came up with that last ball.
And Kia has been bothered by an ankle injury, but is apparently okay. He told us that before the game. Just getting back into the swing of things. Here's Karich, knocked away by Kia, who's coming back defensively. Now it's Ralph Black. Right side for Heel. Heel and the Stars attacking. Left side Milano, a drive wide. Nobody there for the rebound. Look out for Karich. If it's one-on-one, that's where he's most deadly. But now everybody comes back. And a bump from Ralph Black.
Karich looking a little tired there, too, because he was losing his balance before the bump.
Played back to Vaccaro.
Good defensive work by Gary Heel, coming back and then heading for the bench.
We were talking before about Karich playing smart and not letting Waters and the holding tactics and anything get him down. He's also going to play smart so that he doesn't become too selfish out there while his team is down needing a goal. He can't take it upon just himself. If he's got the opportunity, go.
Well, he does excel at the one-on-one, as you said, but you don't want to have your whole team attack break down because he's trying to do too much by himself. That's what you're saying.
Yeah. Cleveland doesn't want to lose a game where he gets 4 or 5 goals.
No, you want to keep your rhythm, too, and keep the other guys running off the ball into dangerous positions. It'll make Karich even more effective in what he does because it adds an element of surprise to what he's doing.
8:16 to go in the fourth. 6-5. The lead belongs to Cleveland. We've not seen a goal, though, in better than 10 minutes.
That's hard to believe the way this game started off.
I thought we were going to have to go to a second score sheet because we saw a ton of goals early. Remember, 3 goals in a minute and 19 seconds. 2 by Cleveland, 1 by Tacoma. And that sort of opened things up. Willen sending it long to Hoskovy. Heading it down. A chance. A shot too high by Ritchie. Is this one ever coming down?
That almost took the glass out, but Hoskovy, very well placed pass with his head into the run of Marco Ritchie, and Ritchie just let go on it. There's Hoskovy's little nod of a header into the space. Ritchie takes it well on his chest, and now he's straight through it and takes the top off the glass.
Still 7:47 to go in regulation time. The Crunch leading the home team, the Stars, by 1 goal.
Nothing beats the sound of cheers. Nothing beats clean, crisp, and cold. Nothing beats the king of beers. Yeah, nothing. Nothing beats a bud. Yeah, nothing. Nothing beats a bud. Nothing. Nothing beats a Budweiser.
Ice cold Budweiser.
Nothing beats a bud.
Love those humps down there.
Excitement gets into your blood.
I think it's great.
The Major Soccer League, where it roars indoors.
Well, 3 games above 500 since that man, Trevor Dawkins, took over as head coach. They'll gladly take that record. He has done a nice job since taking over. He was the assistant coach under a former teammate of his, Kai Hoskovy, and he has really rebounded with his Cleveland Crunch franchise, and they're doing well right now, very close to second place Baltimore. And Keith Weller came in last year a little late to make some changes. This has now become his team, and they were in first place for a couple of months. Ball played long, and Heel in the collision with Willen. That's going back a few minutes, isn't it?
You're going to see more of that.
Ball played long, now for Heel. Bernie James putting pressure that way. Here's Kia. Well, Kia, at the very least, is well rested because he's not played until this quarter. Bernie James in some traffic, gives it up to Sweeney. Lost it. What a save from Johns. Rebound wide. Kia falls. Johns. Incredible. It's still loose. Kia the turnaround. Saved by Sweeney. I, for one, can't believe the last 20 seconds.
And Cleveland just hanging on by a thread. There's no other way to describe it. And a mix-up there between Sweeney, P.J. Johns, a bad touch by Sweeney. But Johns made 2-3 incredible saves, but then it was still alive.
Only if Cleveland wins will they laugh about this and joke about it after the game. Only if they win. Here's King.
But that's the type of thing they've survived today on more than one occasion, and I think it's been the difference because it doesn't seem like that Tacoma's been able to survive that type of stuff. The ball ends up in the goal at Tacoma's end.
Play to the right side. Here's Willen. Busted up by Ristich. And then Ristich is busted up by Willen. Along the boards, Ristich comes out with it to Mark Carpet. 6:19 left.
Well, you know the old saying, it's better to be lucky than good, and it's not all luck because P.J. Johns really did recover well on a couple of those saves, but Cleveland has been fortunate in some of those situations.
The luck was when Kia fell.
Yeah,
because he was wide open.
And then nobody was near covering the goal.
Here the other way comes Kimsey. Back the other way from Milano. Blocked. And now it's King. Now for Hagen.
The pressure's on, though. Tacoma forcing players forward, trying to force that error out of the Cleveland Crunch. And they nearly did, as we saw just a couple seconds ago.
Ralph Black coming back. He has had a nice game for the Stars. 3 assists on the day, and each time it seemed to give his club a lift. We've not seen much of Joe Waters since he's picked up those 3 fouls. Keith Weller doesn't want to have to lose him and then have his team be shorthanded a man. So that puts more pressure on the defense.
Still no Marinaro either for Cleveland.
Coming back here is Medved. To Milano. 5:07 to go. Remember, Tacoma's already used their timeout in this half, so they don't get another. Here's Black. Along the boards, he disappears from view.
Taken down from behind.
Foul is going to be called, and the foul is going to be on Fernandez. So on the restart, Tacoma will put it in play. They've used their 6th attacker a lot this year. They've scored 16 goals off it. We may see that before this one's over.
And Cleveland has been susceptible to 6th attacker goals in this season. Very recently, they had some problems with that.
Milano will start things over. Off the boards, loose, right in the area. Taken away by Andy Schmetzer. Lifted long with some spin on it. Hagen and Crook both override it. Down to 4:48 in regulation time for Ralph Black. Across the way, Kinsey did a good job just to control that ball. Out to Willie Milano. 6'5", Cleveland in the red and black. They've got the lead. Tacoma in the blue and white with Medved.
Sean Medved has been impressive as an attacking player for Tacoma. A rookie, he plays with a lot more poise.
Kinsey, who has poise in the area, knocks it back out to Milano, to Bill Crook. Now to Black. Some good ball possession here. Tacoma trying to get a good shot and a good scoring situation. Here's Hagen.
Get it out.
He heard you.
Yeah, and that's about all they're doing. And this pressure by Tacoma has been effective. They keep pressing. They keep pressing. Eventually, they're going to be able to force something out of Cleveland.
A look at Dave Hagen. He almost died in a car crash here a couple of years ago. And speaking of almost dying, we're going to go back to where Cleveland almost died. Look at this.
They were on the resuscitator here because Sweeney with a bad touch. It's into heel. What a save by P.J. Johns. Just a reaction. Now the ball's in behind everybody. And Key is there with a wide open net. Can't keep his feet to get another stab at it, but it's still loose. He's going to chase it down. Now Cleveland has the goal at least partially covered. Kia takes a shot from a bad angle. It's cleared by Sweeney, and Johns is there again to save the day, but they were in the intensive care unit.
Yeah, it was like somebody oiled that ball. In the corner for Willen, a shot just wide and high. Not by much. You can hear the glass crack on the heel shot. Down to less than 4 minutes to go. Remember now in the Major Soccer League, too, besides the 6th attacker, you can change him on the fly. But that player must come out wearing a 6th attacker jersey. And on the bench, I see Greg Ion putting it on.
Well, Kia may be healthy, but it's one thing being healthy. It's another thing being used to and being right back into the flow of play. His touch is just not sharp tonight, and he had that empty net, and he mistimed his shot.
Here's Carpet, or make it heel, just shooting it. An easy stop for P.J. Johns. Johns will throw long. Now to Karich. Karich trying to get by his man, but it's played right back to Vaccaro. Quickly up for Gary Heel. Heel had Milano wide open, and he spots him. Milano on the right foot, and it's deflected out. A good block by Greg Willen. And there'll be a corner kick coming up, and I'm watching Vaccaro. He looks like he's going off, and Greg Ion will come on, and the 6th attacker has caused a lot of people problems. Look at Vaccaro's goals against average right at the top. He lost out. He was at first most of the year. Nogueira, about a week or so ago, became #1, and now it's Vaccaro again. You see P.J. Johns, a bit underrated. When you talk about all the great goalkeepers in this league, Johns doesn't get as much mention, but he's always up there in all those important goalkeeper statistical categories.
And he's been a workhorse as far as number of games played in this league the last several years. So a durable type of goalkeeper on top of everything else. This Cleveland team, a lot of hustle in there when you think about Willen and Sweeney and some of the work that Andy Schmetzer's been doing. Now they just need to hold on, but the pressure being mounted by Tacoma has been impressive, and it should bear fruit.
Look at Greg Ion, the 6th attacker, Milano, from the corner kick spot. Plays it out to Bill Crook. Crook holding it. Knocks it back out into the neutral zone for Ion. Cleveland defending here. Stolen away by Michael King. Off the boards for Karich. Look out, he sends it long, and in the confidence of Karich, he'll score. A lot of guys would have tried to get closer than that, but Zoran Karich has goal number 50 for the season, and there's still plenty of time, so I won't say that iced it, but that's a big goal.
I think he was too tired to take it further in. To tell you, I saw him huffing and puffing at the last break, but here's the breakdown as Milano just dancing on the ball. Doesn't get enough on that sole of the foot pass. Maybe a little too tricky of a play to try there. And Karich pounces on this one, places it well. Greg Ion trying to sprint back into position, but Karich doesn't miss those kind. We have another look at it. There's the pass with the sole of the foot. Milano, it looks pretty. It wasn't effective there because I think it was Willen who got a foot on it. Pushes it forward to Karich. And Karich places it into the empty net for an empty net goal.
Michael King, presence of mind. Yeah, to bang it off those boards. And the way Karich ran onto it, you get the feeling that King knew he was breaking.
He knew it was going to happen, yep.
And if not, if Karich isn't breaking, the worst thing is the ball goes harmlessly towards midfield.
Right. So my apology to Michael King. He's the one that got the foot out there and, like you said, immediately played it forward to Karich into his run.
King will knock it back. It stays in place somehow. And now Willen sends it long. Looking for Michael King. King trying to sneak by Milano, but it's played back to Greg Ion. And he'll roll it right side to Bill Crook. 2:14 to go. A big goal for Karich. Count him. He's gotten 4, including goal number 50. Black took a nudge from Karich in the corner for Carpet. Knocked back out. Here is Ion. Cutting it on the left side of Milano. 16 sixth attacker goals. Can they get 17 or 18? It's deflected out of play, and the ball will belong to the Tacoma Stars.
When watching these sixth attacker situations through the years even, you wonder, Chris McCarroll disappointed. Obviously, right now it doesn't look good for his team, and he didn't have all that much to do compared to P.J. Johns, but it's just that one of those kinds of games. But going back to the sixth attacker here, I'd like to see sometime a team who's defending against a sixth attacker put somebody like a Karich up on the other team's red line and see
just
what...
leave him there?
And leave him there.
I like that.
And see how the team that was on the sixth attacker would respond to that. They've got to respect a guy like him with at least 2 guys, and that nullifies it.
I like that, Coach. I like that. Here's Milano holding it. Playing it to Ralph Black. Knocked it across, and it never got there. It was blocked. Sweeney getting a nudge on that. Here's Greg Ion. Off a bump. Sweeney knocking it back. Now it's Milano. 1:40 to go. Still plenty of time. 2 goals down for the Stars. Black headed down by Willen. Reversed by Carpet, intended for Cook, and it's stopped on the short side by P.J. Johns.
If you had Karich up there right now, it'd be another goal.
And we've got a timeout. Let's see, Cleveland. Cleveland calls a timeout.
Oxygen timeout.
That might very well be. With 1 minute and 28 seconds left. Time for Trevor Dawkins. He knows this is his game. Now you don't want to lose it. So what's he going to be telling his players?
Well, I would think that he'd like to tell them something along the lines of what I was just saying, and that don't defend too much. Don't get locked into this defensive posture, because the nature of this game with the screen, too many bodies out in front of the goalkeeper, deflections, the boards, and everything else, if a team mounts pressure, a goal is going to result eventually, despite P.J. Johns' acrobatics that we've been seeing. But if they can also get some attacks going, gamble just a little bit. You're up by 2 here. Here's one where they did get the empty netter, and it's good work by Michael King. He reads the pass, gets a foot on it, plays the ball forward early, and Karich is right on it. And look at this. Oh, just a little slice to it around Greg Ion, bounces in, almost effortless by Zoran Karich. He'd like to have a few more of those. There's no doubt about it, because usually he's earning his goals by getting kicked on the turn as he's getting the shot off. And sometimes a player like him doesn't even get to see the shot go in because somebody's dumping it.
Well, he saw that one, and he gave the nice smile at the very end. I don't know if he knew it was goal number 50 or not, but he knew that that could be the game clinching goal. There's still a lot of time left. You and I have both seen a lot of goals scored in far less time than 1:28, and I'm sure Keith Weller has seen it as well. There's Waters with the sweat top on behind him. He had 3 fouls, and he's not as effective, obviously, because as you were saying, he's got to put his hand near Karich, and he's got to bump him, and
he's got to be that much more careful. He's got to be that much more careful. We saw also Steve Kinsey with the 6 attacker jersey on the Tacoma bench, so if Ion would get too winded, they could switch off very quickly and not have to change shirts.
Cleveland looking for only their 4th road victory of the year. We showed you that graphic. They've only won 3 of 14, but 2 of their last 3. They've been a hot team. 6 of their last 7 games they've won. This could be 7 of 8. Right side of the field. Ion to heel.
1 minute to play.
Back to Milano. Less than a minute now. Cleveland can field this one. Left side to Black. Black shot right at P.J. Johns. Staring at that open goal as he throws. He can't throw it over 3 lines. That's the only difference. And this one goes out of play. And Keith Weller makes that easy catch. Zoran Karich, one of the heroes today for Cleveland. 4 goals, but everything else that he doesn't have to score goals either to be effective. He's always taking 1 or 2 players out of the defensive flow.
He can do that, and he also can hold the ball for you. And when you're under pressure, as Cleveland has been for quite this game, just to be able to get the ball out of your own end to somebody on your team to get a change on, perhaps, or just a little bit of a breather and hold some possession. A player like him, he can keep the ball among 2-3 players.
Right side, now it's Ion. Coming back the other way on the cut. Ralph Black leaving it off now to Willie Milano. Milano bothered by Michael King. King has done some nice work coming off the bench, getting his legs going, and Milano gets his legs going now. Look at Karich. He might have 4 goals, but 5 wouldn't bother him there. Coming back, it's heel. Chased by Willen. Cook didn't handle it well on the first touch. Second touch looking for Black. Broken up by King.
Again.
King just lost it. He was going to try to find Karich, I presume, because Karich was a bit ahead of him. Time running out. The Crunch will have their third road victory in their last 4 road appearances. And Trevor Dawkins, well, he's going to have that same sport coat on, I'm sure, the next time Cleveland plays after the All-Star game. So a big victory today for the Cleveland Crunch. They win at 7-5 over the Tacoma Stars as we pause right now for this regional break. You've been watching the Major Soccer League Game of the Week here on Sports Channel America.
Cleveland, the comeback city. A city on the move. And we're working to keep it that way. We're the Greater Cleveland Growth Association, your Chamber of Commerce. And we're in business to make Greater Cleveland great. A vital place to live. A productive place to work. An exciting place to play. We help attract investment and secure government funding to improve the Greater Cleveland area. We encourage and support small business development and help retrain the workforce to keep Greater Cleveland competitive. And we develop ways for government and business to work together. At the Greater Cleveland Growth Association, our goal is to keep this city on the grow. Because when it comes to Cleveland, we mean business.
Here's your final score. Zoran Karich had 4 goals, including goal number 50 as the Cleveland Crunch win an important one on the road today. The Crunch are now 16 wins and 19 losses, but they continue to be one of the very hot teams right now in the Major Soccer League heading into the All-Star break. A reminder that today's game here on Sports Channel America has been brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers with that distinctively clean, crisp, cold taste. Nothing beats a Bud. For Ty Keogh, I'm John Paul Della Camera. We say so long from Tacoma. This has been a Bud Sports presentation through the facilities of Sports Channel America.
Or the underwater world.
Sports Channel, your home for college sports.
Sports Channel America presents the 19